Chapter 101. Lotus 9. Translating Novice. Pete. Crew MM. An immense pressure compresses the formless sword. Numerous colors and rays of light brush past us. I clench my teeth and endure, extracting more pure spiritual force to feed into the formless sword. How long did I manage to sustain the formless sword, teetering between life and death? Flash. Pot. The pressure on the formless sword disappears, and I realize that I am above a teleportation array. The air is different from inside Serving Command Palace. PSSHT. The teleportation array beneath us extinguishes. It seems that this teleportation array is also charged by drawing energy from the surrounding dragon veins. Where is this place? It's when I am surveying the surroundings. Wriggle, wriggle. Ah, my apologies, miss. I release Buck Hyunghwa, who is squirming in my arms. Phew. Oh, we made it out well. Either because she was hot from being in my embrace for a while or due to the heat in her head from the pressure of spatial movement. Her face is flushed red. By the way, what was that thing you did just now? Something transparent seemed to cover us. That was. I am about to divert the topic when I notice her face is still red. By the way, miss. Your face is still red. Are you feeling unwell? I am also a physician, so I can take your pulse. And no, answer my question first. What was that thing? Buck Hyunghwa, unusually emotional, shouts at me. She's probably tired from all these sudden events. I decide to divert from explaining the formless sword. First, we need to figure out the current situation. We are inside a cave. Looking at the structure of the cave, there are paths in all directions, like a maze. No, don't change the subject. What was that thing? It clearly emitted the power of core formation. Miss, let's first get out of this cave, and then I'll explain. Finally, Buck Hyunghwa seems to calm down a bit and nods. I survey the cave with her, looking for a way out. But due to the maze-like twists, every path we take leads back to where the teleportation array is located. This cave seems to be a formation. Indeed, but for such a formation, it doesn't seem artificially made, does it? I eye the maze, contemplating. It seems to be a natural formation, notoriously difficult to dismantle. Sometimes, the arrangement of trees, the shape of a cave, or even the terrain itself naturally forms a formation. Human-made formations have rules and principles, making them dismantleable if you can figure them out. However, for such naturally forming formations, the rules and logic follow nature, not human understanding, making their dismantling extremely difficult. I have learned Earth attribute methods, so why don't we just dig our way out with Earth tunneling? I have also learned Earth attribute methods. Let's dig together. Buck Hyunghwa and I form hand seals and simultaneously use Earth tunneling spells towards the cave wall. Kugugugik. However, Gugugik. Wait a moment. Earth tunneling seemed ineffective, and Buck Hyunghwa, realizing something, looks grim. This rock is called Strange Absorbing Rock, which absorbs spiritual energy. After absorbing spiritual energy, it disperses and distorts it, making spells ineffective. I silently sigh deeply. Phew, there's no other way. It seems I have to try that method again. Can't be helped. Miss, please step back for a moment. Ah, you're going to use that thing again. Her eyes light up and she steps back a few paces, pulling out a notebook and brush. And why are you taking that out? Didn't I tell you? I'm going to create the best magic artifact suited for Cultivator CO. The more I know about Cultivator CO, the better I can optimize the magic artifact for you. Still not giving up on that. Oh, what's giving up? I sigh lightly and say. As I said, please keep this a secret from the Cheongmin clan. Understood. I've already sworn. Then, Kugugik. I seize the air. Consciousness mingles with Gang Chi, transforming into the formless sword. The consciousness domain. Buck Hyunghwa observes from a distance and continues to write in her notebook. Crash bam, crash bam. Before wielding the formless sword, I sent an internal energy blast to the cave's walls to check if internal energy could penetrate the strange absorbing rock. The strange absorbing rock seems to only absorb and distort spiritual energy, not internal energy, which is less pure compared to spiritual energy. It works. Then, it can be sufficiently penetrated. Kugugugu. Raising my momentum, I grip the formless sword and slash upwards. Severing mountain swordsmanship, ascending vein. Quagwagwong. The formless sword soars upwards, shattering the cave's ceiling and creating a hole through which the night sky strewn with stars could be seen. Phew, we made it through. Quote. I turn to Buk Hyunghwa, who has been watching me. She is absent-mindedly recording something in her notebook. Miss Buck. Quote. Ah, I see. She nods with a somewhat defeated expression, realizing something. So you are a core formation senior. With such power, there's no doubt. Pretending to be at the chi building stage while actually being a core formation senior, no wonder my magic artifacts didn't impress you. To a senior of your stature, who should be using a Dharma treasure refined with Dan core fire instead of a mere magic artifact, my offering was too weak. There seems to be a misunderstanding. I am not at core formation. Really, I extend my arm towards her. If you can't believe it, feel my spiritual power. I am really not at core formation, just think of me as having mastered a unique core formation level technique. Seeing how insistently you say so, you must really not be at core formation. She sighs lightly and says, let's talk more once we're outside. Let's do that. Buk Hyunghwa takes out a leaf-shaped flying artifact from her belongings and throws it on the ground. Fed with spiritual power, the magic artifact grows large enough for both of us to ride on, and we ascend through the hole on the leaf. Whoosh! The sea breeze stings my nose. Where are we? I look around. We are surrounded by the sea. The cave we have emerged from is in a labyrinth on a small island in the middle of the sea. I confirm our location through the constellations. We are west of the heaven-treading desert. West of Shaanxi, beyond the great mountain range where the golden divine heavenly thunder sect resided. It seems we are in the far western waters. No, more precisely a bit southwest. I estimate our approximate location by the stars. Then, if we fly northeast for a few weeks, we should see the great mountain range where the golden divine heavenly thunder sect was located. Fortunately, it doesn't seem we have fallen into a completely unknown place. It seems Cheongman Ryong and Cheongman Jung-jin fell in the exact opposite direction, the far east, possibly in the states east of the heaven-treading desert. If I had fallen there, a place I've never been to, it would have been quite troublesome. I sigh in relief and look at Buk Hyunghwa. We're fortunate, Miss Buck. If we head northeast, we'll reach a place I know. This seems to be an archipelago in the far west beyond the great mountain range of Shaanxi. However, Buk Hyunghwa seems to have something to say, looking at me with a determined expression. Miss Buck, I've decided. She clenches her fists and speaks. Even if Cultivator CO is a core formation cultivator, I will create a Dharma treasure suitable for a core formation cultivator. No, I am not a core formation cultivator, and then, I will create an ultimate magic artifact that can be used at the chi building stage and then can be refined into a Dharma treasure with Dan fire when you reach core formation. I see it now. Creating a magic artifact even a core formation cultivator will covet as a challenge for myself. Don't stop me. Quote. I sigh softly. Since it's come to this, I need to show her that I really don't need a magic artifact. Just watch, Miss Buck. Coo-goo-goo-goo. I grip the formless sword again. And then, I swing it towards the sea beside us. Qua! The sea splits, causing a storm in the night sea. Gigantic waves sweep around, and I deflect not only the incoming waves but every single droplet with the formless sword. I'm genuinely serious. I honestly don't need any magic artifacts. This formless sword is an overwhelming alternative over any magic artifacts and Dharma treasures. It can transform freely, its strength endlessly increases as long as my abilities support it, and its sharpness is indescribable. Its power, as you've just seen, is capable of splitting the sea and collapsing mountains. Moreover, as my consciousness grows, it grows with me, almost like a part of me. External objects like magic artifacts are meaningless to me. I see. She nods and says, thank you for explaining. I'll keep that in mind. Quote. Ha, I heave a deep sigh. It seems like she really has no intention of giving up. If that's the case, then I'll set a few conditions. Please, tell me. I set a few conditions for her, who seem even more fired up by the challenge. 1. The magic artifact should be easy to create even with ordinary materials. 2. The difficulty of its creation should be manageable enough that I could make it myself in the future. 3. It should be a magic artifact that can fully embody the limitless transformations of the formless sword. I wonder if this will make her give up. To create a powerful magic artifact with ordinary materials, numerous circuits would have to be engraved into the artifact. But since I requested a low difficulty in production, it couldn't have too many circuits. Yet, at the same time, it needs to encapsulate the formless sword's incredible versatility. In fact, these conditions are necessary for me, who undergoes an infinite regression. The materials need to be common enough for me to find, and the production difficulty has to be manageable enough that, if necessary, another magic artifact artisan can succeed in making it. And it needs to be beneficial for me, so it has to be able to capture the changes of the formless sword. In reality, these conditions are almost like asking her to give up. The production conditions are really demanding. Didn't I tell you, I really don't need magic artifacts. I'll give it a try. Yet, she doesn't give up. Really, she's going to attempt that. Well, suit yourself. Eventually, I decide to step back in the face of her determination. Then, shall we head back? Ah, I just remembered something. She speaks, pointing westward. You said this is the archipelago beyond the Shenxi's Great Mountain Range, right? Yes, but, Buck Hyunghwa looks westward with curiosity-filled eyes. Then, if we go further west than the archipelago, there's a place called World's End. Can we go there? World's End. Yes, Cultivator CO. You must have read fairy tales as a child, right? West, north, east, south. They say if you go to the end of each direction, you'll find World's End. I've always wondered how all this seawater doesn't fall off at World's End. Now that we're here, shouldn't we take a look at World's End? Ah, I laugh awkwardly. Having been immersed in the cultivation world for centuries with spells and techniques surpassing even that of the 21st century humanity, I have momentarily forgotten. The level of common knowledge in this world is medieval. There's no such thing as World's End. How do I explain that the earth is spherical? After a moment's contemplation, I realize there's no need to explain it. If Cheonmin Ryong and Cheonmin Jung Jin fell to the east, then heading west should bring us closer to them, right? It might not be a bad idea to travel around the world to reunite with them. I'll keep operating the telepathic communication device while heading west. If Cheonmin Ryong is within range, the device should work. Alright, let's head a bit further west then. I'm so excited, seeing the legendary end of the world. Haha, I'm looking forward to it too. Buck Hyunghwa takes out a white boat-shaped flying artifact from her storage device. I made this artifact so I'll handle the controls. Can Cultivator CO infuse it with pure spiritual force? Understood. Soon after, the boat-shaped artifact speeds westward. 3 days have passed. What on earth is this? Wow, so this is World's End. Is this right? I feel dizzy in this utterly incomprehensible situation, completely beyond common sense. Come and see this, Cultivator CO. Ah, sorry, Miss Buck. I feel a bit dizzy. Do you have air sickness from flying? No, just a bit tired, that's all. I see, I will continue exploring a bit more. Something is strange. This world is. It's like the sky is beneath my feet. Feeling dizzy, I turn my gaze towards where Buck Hyunghwa is looking. World's End. There, it's as if the seawater and the land beneath are cut off, with a completely blue sky extending beyond. As evening approaches, stars begin to rise from below. What does this mean? This world is not spherical. This world is flat and circular, abruptly ending like this. Is this really World's End? This is my first time seeing it too. Indeed, it's your first time as well, Cultivator CO. Most people spend their lives inside the vast continents, after all. I slowly approach her as she observes the sky below from the edge of the world. It's truly fascinating, isn't it? This. Thud. As I approach and touch the emptiness, a transparent barrier seems to prevent anything from going beyond into the void. It's like a barrier preventing the seawater from pouring over. In the fairy tales I heard as a child, it was called the World Shield Force. It's supposed to protect our world from external worlds and, at the same time, prevent the seawater from leaking downward. I am not well versed in the fairy tales or legends of this world. No, I actually know them but have always dismissed them as medieval superstitions and myths. Thud. I tap the so-called World Shield Force a few more times. Miss, this World Shield Force, does it not only cover World's End but also envelop the entire circular world? Yes, haven't you read the fairy tales? I see. I feel a sense of bizarreness about this strange and peculiar world. A transparent barrier covering the flat world. It's almost like an aquarium or a fish farm. What exactly is this world? Translator notes. RMC. Isn't dull, he's just innocent Z's. Anyway, the plot thickens and the mystery deepens. Chapter 102. Lotus 10. Translating novice. If this world is like a fish tank, then what exactly is the Ascension Gate? And what about serving Command Palace? No, that's not it. I erase these wild speculations. Maybe this world is just naturally like this. Let's not overthink it. Above all, if this world is like a fish tank, then why would ancestor Yang Su-jin return to this confined space? Why would such a powerful being, who can tear through the void and come back down from the higher realms, do so? It's probably just the way this world is. Let's not get carried away with grandiose thoughts. Thinking too big might eventually lead to heart demons. A world that's not spherical. After all, when you think about it, it's a world where heavenly being cultivators freely roam across the continents. If the structure of such a world is exactly like Earth, that wouldn't make sense, would it? How strong would the world have to be to withstand all that? While I am lost in thought. Speaking of a spherical world, it reminds me of another fairy tale I read as a child. Quote. Buck Hyunghwa points to the sky and says, in a fairy tale I read when I was young, it said that there are people that live in the astral realm far away, where the people cling to a spherical land. Isn't it funny, living on a spherical land? Would the people on the bottom side have to keep hanging on so they don't fall off? I thought it was a fairy tale with really imaginative creativity. I look up at the night sky, now beginning to be covered by darkness. The astral realm, a sky full of stars. Maybe those stars are proper planets. Is this world the only one with such a strange structure? Or are there more worlds like this with equally peculiar structures? If only this world is like this, why is it so bizarre? I ponder a few more things, but it only makes my head feel more complicated. Enough. For now, there's no way to know. The best thing to do is to become a heavenly being and then check the structure of this world myself. Yes, let's focus on what's in front of us for now. I calm my mind and board the ship again with Buck Hyunghwa, who has been admiring the sky at World's End for a while. Really, it's beautiful, the sky beneath our feet over there. Quote. Indeed. Sigh, shall we go now? Yes. Clan head and Cheongman Ryong must be worried, let's return. Right, and if we're in the far western region, how long will it take to return to Biokra? At least a month or two, I would guess. My father will be worried. Seeing her concern for her father, I ask. Originally, the prize for Miss Buck's wager was not the magic artifacts, but a tour with Miss Buck herself. How about we count this as a tour on this occasion? Just hurrying back counts as a tour. Doesn't Cultivator CO feel it's a pity? What's there to regret? I'm originally a wanderer who used to travel around the world, so I've had plenty of tours. At my words, she smiles softly and looks out at the night sea. I sense a hint of regret in her intent. Quote. On the way back, let's still take a little tour through places like Shanxi and Yangguo. Yes, that would be nice as well. Question mark. Why does it seem like she's still not cheered up? Her feelings of regret remain, leaving me puzzled. A few days later, we moved eastward, and we were finally able to reach the mountain range where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect used to be. This place is called Shattered Heaven Peak in the mountain range where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was located. Miss Buck must have heard of it. Right, Buck Hyunghwa marvels at the scenic beauty of Shattered Heaven Peak. The places that were destroyed by me and Kim Young-hoon in my previous life are still intact, bringing back memories. Pointing to one of the peaks, she says, I've read about it in ancient texts. The highest peak used to house the Heavenly Lightning Banner, a sacred treasure of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. It was said to be an incredible immortal treasure. As an artisan, it's a pity I never saw it. I wanted to see one of the three great treasures of the world, but I only saw the ruined Nether crossing ship. The three great treasures refer to the sacred treasures of three sects that were renowned throughout the continent. The Black Ghost Valley's Nether crossing ship. The Heavenly Lightning Banner of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. The Blue Sky Armor of the Heaven Creation sect. Each of these treasures are either an immortal treasure or a unique Dharma treasure that matches immortal treasures in significance. Especially notable among them is the Heavenly Lightning Banner of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, which is a true immortal treasure, as per the legend that golden deity Yang Su-jin used it in the immortal realm. Like the legend of the Nether crossing ship, which can traverse the realm of the dead, the Heavenly Lightning Banner is said to be able to artificially induce heavenly tribulations, its power and status evident even without seeing it firsthand. However, there's hardly any rumors about the Blue Sky Armor. Every time Sir Chong-ho appears wearing that blue armor, it's likely the Blue Sky Armor, a unique Dharma treasure, but it seems to have no special functions other than appearing solid. Therefore, no one really knows much about the Blue Sky Armor. It's a secret of the Cheonmin clan, and as an outsider, it's clear they wouldn't inform me. Well, I don't really care about immortal treasures anyway. Buk Hyunghwa is lost in thought, gazing endlessly at the highest peak of Shattered Heaven Peak, where the Thunder Banner was said to have resided. Just then, below Shattered Heaven Peak, several elders and youths, who look to be gathering herbs below, respectfully bow to us flying on our magic artifact. Buk Hyunghwa asks in surprise. Why are those mortals bowing to us? We haven't done anything for them. Miss Buck, have you never been outside of Cheonsak City? Well, not exactly. I haven't really left the eastern part of Biokra much. I did visit Yangguo, but that was just a short business trip for 3 days due to a magic artifact, and I hurried back. Ah, I see. I explained to her the mortals' perception of cultivators. In Cheonsak City and eastern Biokra, as it's the territory of the Gongmyo clan, quality magic artifacts are abundant, attracting many cultivators. As a result, mortals there are quite familiar with cultivators, whereas in Yangguo and Shanxi, the majority of mortals don't even know of the existence of cultivators, often thinking of them as immortals from legends. Ah, I see. I guess I understand why Buk Jongho stayed quiet about the bet his daughter made with that Byuk clan fellow, conditioning the bet on a tour. She seems too ignorant of the outside world. But, those people down there seem to be praying for something. It seems so. Shouldn't we help them? After a moment of contemplation, I respond. Follow your heart. After all, she's not a malevolent person and even generously offered water to travelers in the desert, so her intervention with mortals wouldn't be a problem. Wo Wang, she lowers the altitude of the flying artifact to approach those earnestly praying. Oh, look, immortals. The immortals have responded to our prayers. Immortals, please help our village. They pled in the language of Shanxi, and I translate for her. Oh dear, elder, what seems to be the trouble? She asks the most earnest-looking elder, and I translate her words. What's the matter? Externally, it might seem arrogant, but considering my mental age, this elder honestly looks like a mere child to me. I'll be older than Yuan Li if this life goes on. With a self-mocking smile, I ask the elder, who hurriedly bows and answers. Ah, immortal, we wish you would help our village. Every fortnight, a centipede demon appears in our village, devouring young men and women of marriageable age. We've reported to the authorities, but they've been silent. We invited martial experts to defeat it, but they all became food for the centipede demon. Please, help us. If they requested the authorities, the cultivator clans should have taken action. I sensed something strange and listened to their story. The village in the mountainous region of Sok was peaceful until one day, a centipede demon began to appear, devouring young men and women every fortnight. Although the demon seemed intelligent, it didn't understand other offerings, and after reporting to the authorities, suspicious-looking people visited the centipede. Yet since then, the authorities have ignored the village's pleas. Overwhelmed with frustration, the village of Sok invited martial art experts to capture the demon, but the experts were all devoured by the demon in turn, and their interference only provoked it to consume more villagers. After those suspicious people visited, the authorities pretended not to know anything. There must have been a deal between the cultivator clans and the demon. After deducing this, I share my conclusions with Buk Hyunghwa. What should we do, miss? It seems like a complicated situation. Do you want to help? After some contemplation, she nods. I want to help, as long as it doesn't interfere with Cultivator Seo's schedule. Haha, I have nothing urgent. If Miss Buck wishes to help, I will assist as well. Thank you. After our discussion, we address the waiting elder and other herb gatherers. We will help. Lead the way. Thank you so much. Following the elder's guidance, we disembark from the ship and head to Sok village. Many houses in the village are destroyed, and deep pits, seemingly the footprints of the centipede, are scattered around. Every time the centipede demon tries to attack, we try to stop it, but it just destroys anything in its way, finds the hidden young men and women, and devours them. Quote. Because of this, many people have created hidden spaces in their homes to hide, or they are preparing to leave the village. If the immortals hadn't offered to help, our Sok village might have been disbanded. I ask the elder, alright, do you know where this centipede demon lives? There's a large cave beyond that peak, the demon lives deep inside it. Buk Hyunghwa and I nod in agreement. Understood, we will go and check it out. Crossing the peak mentioned by the elder, we arrive at the cave where the centipede is said to reside. Human bones are scattered everywhere, and a tremendous energy looms within. So, it's a late chi building demon. I understand why the cultivator clans couldn't deal with this demon. A late chi building demon is considered an elder level among cultivator clans, even among the high-ranking elders. It's unreasonable for core formation masters or venerable elders to intervene for mere mortal affairs. Wo Wang. As we enter the cave, the centipede demon's consciousness echoes in our consciousness. Who are you? I stare into the darkness of the cave. Something rustles inside, and soon a giant centipede reveals itself. I also reply through consciousness to the centipede. Why are you attacking human villages and eating them? There are many other prey. Besides, remembering the reaction of the fox demon, I say, human flesh doesn't seem that tasty to your kind, so why specifically hunt for humans? The centipede rustles its antennae and replies, human flesh. If eaten, I can birth offspring like me. What? I am lonely. My kin don't have same intellect as me. When I have children, they live short lives. Before, I had friends I could talk to. One day, humans moving the heavens take all away. Ones with strong energy were taken, and now, only I, alone. I listened to the centipede demon's story. So, I thought, if I eat people with intellect, my offspring too will have it. Therefore, I ate those called maidens and bachelors, with pure blood among humans. Demon beasts are originally born by living long enough to obtain a demon core. But how long can ordinary beasts live? Typically, for an ordinary beast to become a demon beast, it either happens with extremely slim chances or they are born as special species like the mighty tiger tribe, Holy Pung tribe, or the sea dragon tribe. However, ordinary demon beasts, not being of such special species, don't necessarily inherit these traits. Cultivators marrying each other have a higher chance of transmitting spiritual roots to their offspring. That's why there are cultivator clans. But what about demon beasts? They are collectively called demon beasts but are in fact entirely different species, and it's incredibly difficult for the same species to meet. Even if they mate, the chances of transmitting spiritual traits are lower than human cultivators. And such a thing is not solved by eating human flesh. Eating them won't make your offspring born with demon cores. No, they surely will. Who told you that? My instinct. Humans, even without demon cores, are smart. Surely, if I eat smart humans. I interrupt the centipede. There's no such thing. The only way for your children to become like you is for them to survive long enough to awaken and embrace their spiritual nature and form their own demon cores. No, your kind, those with spiritual power, come to me, say they support me. They consume the village, ask for my shed skin in return. It seems the cultivator clans left the centipede alone in exchange for its shed skin. For cultivator clans, the loss of one or two mortal villages are insignificant, and the centipede is unexpectedly powerful, so they pretended to support it while taking its shed skin. They just deceived you with their so-called support. Their encouragement doesn't suddenly make your offspring miraculous. Lies. Don't lie. Stop. Upon hearing my words, the centipede suddenly contorts its body in anger. My offspring, all become me. You too, pure maiden and bachelor, I eat you, it might possible. Rumble. The centipede twists its body and emits poison. I counter the poison with my spiritual power and look at Buk Hyonghwa. It seems communication is futile. It looks like this creature has already consumed dozens of people. Yes, it seems right to end its life. She closes her eyes in sorrow, seeing the human bones scattered throughout the cave. I grip my formless sword and take a step towards the centipede. That's when it happens. Screech. The centipede lets out a scream, and thousands of bats fly out from deeper within the cave. Simultaneously, other centipedes, snakes, scorpions, and numerous venomous creatures crawl out from all around. Boom. The centipede lunges at me, who has drawn the formless sword, and I am thrown outside the cave. The creature, sensing my pure spiritual power, attacks me first, and the venomous creature summoned by the centipede rushes towards her. Miss Buck, are you alright? I shout to her, who is being targeted by the venomous creatures, and Buk Hyonghwa silently activates her storage device. Thud, thud, thud 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 thud. Dozens of flying sword magic artifacts, mirrors, lutes, bells, daggers, wheels, looms, drums, and hundreds of other magic artifacts burst out from her storage device, filling the space around her. Don't worry about me. Rumble. Numerous magic artifacts simultaneously activate, emitting light. I always keep my bag well stocked. As she speaks, flying swords and numerous magic artifacts fly out in all directions, repelling the venomous creatures and scattering powerful spells. Ha, I chuckle at the sight of her pulling out countless magic artifacts and scattering them around. No need to worry about her. I raise my formless sword, facing the giant centipede spreading a toxic mist in front of me. It's unfortunate about your offspring, but the humans you've eaten were innocent and eating them has nothing to do with your offspring gaining spiritual nature. Yet, you insist on continuing to eat people, leaving me no choice. I swing the formless sword. In an instant, the sword transforms, clearing away all the toxic mist and striking the centipede fiercely. Tough. The centipede's carapace is quite hard. Even though I swung to clear the mist rather than to attack, I didn't expect it to block it in one go. Of course, the centipede, having taken a hit from the formless sword, is spewing venomous blood and staggering. It clearly isn't in good shape. Goodbye. I descend towards the centipede, embedding the formless sword into its head. Boom. It isn't much of a battle. A core formation level formless sword. For a late chi building centipede demon, it really isn't a match. Screech, screech. Despite having the formless sword embedded in its head, the centipede demon struggles a few times. My offspring, my children. It murmurs and spews venomous blood for a moment. I won't die easily. A wave radiates from the centipede's head, spreading around. The wave reaches the venomous creatures summoned by the centipede, and those attacking Buk Hyunghwa suddenly scatter in all directions. That just now, knowing demon language, I could understand the wave emitted by the centipede. This demon ordered the venomous creatures to continue attacking the village. Starting tonight, the venomous creatures will begin attacking the village. You ended it quickly. Miss, are you still thinking of making me a magic artifact after seeing that? Ahaha, it's a matter of pride for me. I will definitely make it. She clenches her fists and nods. Now that the centipede demon is dead, I have something to say. I explain the final command the centipede demon had given to the venomous creatures. Since we've agreed to help, we should take care of those venomous creatures too. Miss, do you have any ideas? After pondering for a moment, Buk Hyunghwa quickly comes up with a solution. Such a command ability typically lasts 3 to 5 months, maybe up to half a year at most. So, we can set up a protective magic artifact in the village that operates for about half a year. Since the venomous creatures attack only at night, we can just prevent them from leaving the village during the night. If they can hold out for about half a year, the rest should naturally resolve itself. Oh, it seems a magic artisan can be quite useful in this regard. That's a good idea. Yes, but, she looks around inside the cave and says, shall we collect the remains? I call the people of Sok village, extract the poison from the cave with my spell, and let them enter to collect the remains of their relatives. Thank you so much. The village chief, in tears, retrieves his son's remains, takes my hand, and bows deeply. Really, thank you. It's nothing. I calmly accept the chief's gratitude and inform him about the final command the centipede demon had given to the venomous creatures. How? Don't worry, my friend here will resolve that issue in a few days. I point to Buk Hyunghwa, who is also receiving thanks from the villagers. And I'll guard against the venomous creature's intrusion for those few days. Thank you. The village chief bows to me and then to Buk Hyunghwa. She doesn't understand the language of Shengxi but responds with a warm smile to the chief's gratitude. All the remains have been collected. Let's return to the village now. Just a moment, cultivator Seo. Yes. Buk Hyunghwa points to the centipede demon's corpse, which had fallen down the valley below. Could you accompany me down there? Of course. We approach the vicinity of the centipede demon's body. Is there something you need? Oh, are you looking for materials for your magic artifact? She gazes at the centipede demon for a while, then smiles faintly. No, it's not that. I was just thinking of burying this demon as well. Buk Hyunghwa approaches the centipede demon and continues. After all, this demon was a mother to its offspring. Though it was a heinous demon that devoured innocent mortals, its actions were driven by maternal love, making it hard to view it as pure evil. And, she fiddles with her jade norige as she speaks. It somehow reminds me of my own mother. I understand. Let's bury it together. We simultaneously use earth spells to bury the centipede demon. Afterwards, Buk Hyunghwa takes a glass bracelet from her storage device and places it on the grave. It's said in Biokra that they place glass artifacts on the graves of the deceased. Now let's go. Yes. I follow Buk Hyunghwa, taking one last look at the grave she had made for the centipede demon, with the glass bracelet glistening on top. Sok village is in a festive mood. Having collected the remains of the deceased and after a period of mourning, the absence of fear and the prospect of not having to flee the village seems to greatly uplift the villagers. We plan to hold a modest village festival, combining it with a memorial service for the deceased. Would the two immortals kindly grace the festival with your presence? I convey the chief's words to Buck Hyung-hwa, who expresses curiosity and agrees to attend. Miss Buck agrees to participate. Understood. And Sir Immortal, the village chief asks me, should I participate? Not particularly interested in festivals, I hesitate. If your partner participates, why should you hesitate, sir? Hee. Quote. We are not exactly partners. Oh, I see. You haven't married yet. No, Miss Buck is actually betrothed to someone else. Oh, I apologize. It's fine. I will guard the outskirts of the village against the venomous creatures while you prepare for the festival. After explaining the festival to Buck Hyung-hwa, I head to the outskirts of the village. The sun is about to set. At this time, I notice a little girl outside the village holding a book. Child, go back to the village. The festival is about to start. Oh, Sir Immortal. The child looks at me and replies, I'm waiting for my sister. She said she will back soon. Is that so? Where did your sister go? My sister went over that mountain. She said she will come back after working at a rich house over that mountain. The mountain the child points to is where the centipede had lived. Quote. Quote. I look at the child innocently holding the book and waiting, unsure of what to say, and fall silent for a moment. By the way, what's that book? Oh, it's a book filled with old stories. My sister said she will read it to me when she returns, so I'm waiting here. I look at the child with a bittersweet feeling. It's late now, why don't you go inside? I'll wait a little longer. The adults in the village said, many people have returned today. My sister will come back too. Child, let me read the book to you. I wanted my sister to read it to me. I'm an immortal, aren't I? If I read it to you, it will bring you blessings. The child looks at me with innocent eyes and asks, really? Of course. Then please read it. I take the storybook from the child and use an earth spell to lift some soil, creating chairs for us to sit on. Wow, interesting, isn't it? Sit down. I'll read it to you. I open the storybook. Then, feeling as if my eyeballs are about to pop out, I involuntarily gasp. What? On the first page of the book, there is a subtitle. Chapter 1, The Ender's Tale. Chapter 103, Lotus 11. Translating Novice. The Ender's Tale. It's when I am looking at the storybook with trembling eyes. Sir Immortal. Quote. Ah, sorry, I'll read it to you. I read the storybook. The contents of the storybook are roughly as follows. Once upon a time, there was a supreme deity who ruled the heavens. The supreme deity had 7 beloved disciples, and one day, they had a great dispute with the supreme deity. The disciples left the heavenly realm ruled by the supreme deity and descended to the human world. The supreme deity, seeing that the 7 disciples did not obey his command, called them enders. But the human world was harsh, and the 7 enders shed tears of pain, longing for the heavenly realm. Seeing this, the supreme deity created a path to ascend to the heavens so that the 7 disciples could return, and made it possible for them to reach the heavens by walking this path. It is said that the 7 enders walked the heavenly path laid by the supreme deity, returned to the heavenly realm he ruled, and lived happily beside him, assisting him. This is the rough storyline of this tale. And then, shiver, for some reason, I feel a surge of disgust and fear rising from deep within my soul, taking over my body. I feel goosebumps all over my body for some reason. Why? This tale itself is a kind of fairy tale, intended to teach children the lesson, not to leave home recklessly. But, why? I feel something ominous in every single line of this tale. Especially at the end of the tale, the part where the enders happily lived beside the supreme deity, it felt like chills were covering my whole body as soon as I read it. Sir Immortal, are you okay? The child, looking worried, tugs at my arm. Ah, I suddenly realize that I am in a greatly shrunken posture with a distorted expression. It's okay. Just feeling a bit unwell, don't worry too much. What is this? I felt this emotion surge from a place deeper than my soul, in response to a sentence and content I have never seen before. Something is strange. What exactly is this story? Is there something else hidden in this book or on the paper? After reading The Ender's Tale, I move on to the next story. Ah, this is a tale I know. Fortunately, from the second story onwards, they are ordinary tales that I read before. Like the story of a man who threw himself onto the ice to catch a carp for his mother to eat on a midwinter day. Or the story of an old man who built a pagoda to offer a ritual to fate. These were tales conveying the lesson, sincerity reaches the heavens, which I had seen before, and this time I read the tales to the child comfortably without feeling strange. Just then, this is also a story I've never seen before. The 13th chapter, The Tale of the People of the Spherical Land, is also a story I haven't read. It's the story of the content that Buck Hyunghwa had narrated. It said that people live in a place called the astral realm, and they live attached to a spherical land. Wow, how do people live attached to the land? People living under the round part would fall down, wouldn't they? Quote. Indeed. I smile bitterly and turn the last pages of the storybook. The last chapter of the storybook is about World's End, which I had seen before. It's about stories like if you go to the east, west, north, and south of the world, you would reach the world's end, and something like the world shield force surrounding the world. And, in the last chapter, there's a map roughly showing what this world looks like. In the center of the map, there's a large desert, and in the center of the desert, something like a small island is drawn. To the left of the desert are countries that seem to be Biokra, Yangguo, and Shaanxi. To the right are various states. To the top, a large grassland. To the bottom, an endless sea is drawn. And, at the ends of each east, west, north, and south, there are clear boundary lines, and beyond these boundary lines, the sun, moon, stars, etc., are drawn. Is this the entirety of this world? Suddenly, I notice something very small drawn outside the map, a cylindrical object, and my eyes widen. Serving Command Palace. Is it also mentioned here? For a simple countryside storybook, the content is too detailed. And then, I suddenly notice another strange aspect of the storybook. Sir Immortal, look at this. The sun and the moon here tilde. The child points to the sun and the moon marked outside the map and says. They look just like eyes. Quote. The map depicts the sun and the moon like eyeballs. Inside the golden sun, there are things like blood vessels and a pupil that is hard to see unless observed closely, and the silver moon is the same. The pupils of both the sun and the moon are facing the continent inside the map. Shiver. As soon as I recognize these as eyeballs, I feel chills running through my body again. What in the world is this place? Suddenly, the setting sun and the rising moon in the distance feel terrifyingly ominous. Single quote. No, it can't be. It's just a book that a child in the countryside has. The person who made this book must have drawn it just for fun. I force a laugh, driving away the terrifying thoughts that came to my mind. But why, in a country child's book, is there a map with Serving Command Palace and even the ascension path of heaven treading desert precisely drawn? Crack. Even after closing the book, the faint pupils drawn in the sun and moon don't leave my mind. What did the person who made this book want to convey? And, is there a hidden secret in this book? Could you give me this book? No, I have to read it with my sister when she comes. I make a troubled expression. How, is there no way? The girl seems quite stubborn. Then, I see the sun setting in the distance. Night will fall, soon. It's when venomous creatures will start to gather. By the way, child, shouldn't you go inside now? It's dangerous to wander outside at night. I'm waiting for my sister. There's a festival in the village today, don't you want to see it? After a moment of thought, the little girl holds my hand and says. I'll go if you come with me, Sir Immortal. If Sir Immortal doesn't go, I won't go either. Eventually, I sigh and collapse the earthen chair I had created with a spell. Fine, I'll go too. Soon after, I form another spell and create an earthen doll. Murmur. Using the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, I cast a small curse and graft it into the earthen doll. Wow, Sir Immortal, what is that doll? It looks creepy. Quote. It's a cursed doll. Yin Soul Ghost incantation includes a method to create cursed dolls and manipulate them remotely through curses. I could cast curses through the cursed doll, and also input actions by infusing 1 or 2 curses. The founder of Yin Soul Ghost incantation, who handled 108 curses simultaneously, was said to have created a human-like doll, infusing it with 108 curses and manipulating it just like a real person. Whoosh! The curse-infused doll wriggles awkwardly and stands at the edge of the village in my place. That will stand guard in my place. If something crosses the village boundary, the cursed doll will send a signal, and I can sense it and eliminate it from a distance. Wow, Sir Immortal, you are really cool. Haha, now that you've seen something interesting, let's hurry into the village. I take the child's hand and enter the village together. At the same time, forming another spell, I create 3 more earthen dolls, infuse them with curses, and send them to the 4 corners of the village. This should be enough for the defense. Oh my, is Cultivator Seo also participating in the festival? Buk Hyunghwa, dressed in traditional festival attire of a pure white gown, sees me walking with the girl. Following the festival's rules, she only has a simple hairpin as her head decoration, like the other women in the village. Yes, thanks to this child. Wow, it's an immortal maiden. The child approaches Buk Hyunghwa and admires her dressed in the village's traditional attire. Although her appearance is not particularly outstanding, dressed in white and looking neat, she appears quite beautiful. Ah, is Sir Immortal also participating in the festival? The village chief and some village men approach and ask. Yes, but, is there a problem? No, not at all, just wondering if you've heard about the mountain festivals. Yes, I'm aware. Great Stone Ceremony, Recounting Celebration Ceremony, Twin Immortals Dance. These 3 festivals are the most famous, aren't they? Yes. This festival is the Twin Immortals Dance Festival among them. After people were taken by harmful beasts, we always perform the Twin Immortals Dance ritual to console our hearts and minds. In the mountainous regions of Shaanxi, there's the Great Stone Ceremony, held once a year when lightning covers the entire mountainous area. Recounting Celebration Ceremony, a festival of scholars reciting classics and scholarly works, hosted by Shaanxi, known for its scriptures and academia. And the Twin Immortals Dance Festival, famous for praying that such incidents of people being taken by beasts or monsters never happen again, if they do occur in the mountainous regions. I am aware. Oh, but to participate in the Twin Immortals Dance Festival, don't all participants need to wear the same outfit? I realize there might not be any spare clothes if I decide to participate on such a short notice. That's alright, we can get clothes that fit you from the young men of similar stature. Well, never mind then. If that's the case, I might as well not participate. You're saying that, but aren't you really saying not to participate? That's when Buk Hyunghwa approaches me and asks. What's the matter? Oh, I don't have clothes to participate in the festival, so I've decided not to participate. Upon hearing my words, she chuckles and says. Oh, was that the problem? Please tell the village chief. I'll make clothes for Cultivator Seo. What do you mean by that? Ah, please tell him quickly. Although I am confused, I relay her words to the village chief, who laughs heartily, nods, and then leaves. No, Miss Buck, the festival is about to start. It's alright, just stretch out your arms. She quickly takes out a tool resembling a tape measure from her storage device, measures my body, and then takes something else out. Boom, bang, from her storage device, something like a small model house pops out and then drops in front of us with a bang. It's my portable workshop. Just wait for a moment. I'll make it quickly and bring it to you. After a while, there are sounds of rapid movement inside her workshop, and she comes out with a white Taoist robe. Is this a pre-made outfit from inside the workshop? I ask, glancing inside the workshop, astonished by the unreal production speed. Why would I have this region's traditional clothing in the workshop? Stop fussing and try it on. Is this what they call extraordinary pattern law talent? Those with a natural talent for making things. I don't know about ordinary magic artifacts, but it seems she would whip up something like clothes in no time. I am momentarily astounded by the speed, receive the clothes, and change inside her workshop. The outfit I received is a flowing white robe. Even the shoes match perfectly, making me look like a white heron to an outsider. It suits Cultivator Seo quite well, doesn't it? Thank you, Miss Buck, you look quite fitting as well. Oh, thank you. Boom. She then shrinks her portable workshop and puts it back into her storage device. I head towards the site of the festival that's about to begin. There, the village chief is busily overseeing the festival preparations. Ah, Sir Immortal, you've arrived. Haha, you look good. How many times have you seen the Twin Immortals dance? Ah, actually, this is my first time. Until now, I've only read about the festival in ancient texts. The village chief strokes his beard and nods. It's an honor for our village to show Sir Immortal his first Twin Immortals dance. It's an honor for me as well to witness such a long-standing tradition. The festival has been passed down for 1600 years in the mountainous regions of Shaanxi. I hope you enjoy it. I ask, surprised. 1600 years. It's quite a historically deep-rooted festival, isn't it? Yes. As legend has it, long ago, two immortals defeated a notorious demon in these mountains, and the twin immortals' dance began from the dance they performed together. That's why, when people are taken by monsters or harmful beasts, we perform the festival, praying for the miraculous power of those immortals so that such tragedies never happen again. The village chief suddenly looks overwhelmed with emotion and wipes his tears as he speaks. Until now, the village was too close to the habitat of the centipede demon, so when people were taken, we couldn't even think about recovering their bodies, let alone hold a festival with any hope. But now, just like the legendary immortals, two immortals appeared and saved our village, and I can't tell you how moved I am. I listened to the village chief's words while watching the festival preparations. Soon after, as the sun sets, the festival begins. The women and elders of the village play the drum and zither, while others pluck the pipa at home. The music, though, is not too frivolous, befitting a festival that mixes the atmosphere of comforting the deceased with a gentle melody. Then, young men and women gather in the center of the village. All dressed in the same white robes, the village women approach the young men and women, distributing a paper fan to each. Whether these fans are from their homes or not, they are all different in shape and equally worn out. Some even just folded roughly when there weren't enough fans. Flutter, flutter. On both sides of the clearing, scrolls depicting the two immortals from the distant past are unfurled. Then, the village chief prays for the souls of the deceased at the front of the clearing, asking for the miraculous power of the two immortals to prevent such tragedies from happening again. And so, the dance begins. The twin immortals dance is literally a dance where pairs of men and women, each holding a fan, dance together. Interestingly, at the beginning of the festival, the women's faces were covered with white cotton cloths, making it hard to recognize each other. Ah, Miss Buck has completely withdrawn her divine consciousness. It seems like it wouldn't be fun if we both have our domain of consciousness, as we would recognize each other instantly. Thinking like that, I, too, close my eyes and transform my consciousness into the formless sword. Pairs start forming in the clearing. I drift around the edge without partnering up, launching my formless sword into the distance. Swoosh! A venomous creature, caught by the cursed doll's detection and trying to enter the village, is struck by the formless sword and bursts. Boom, boom! I dance casually, focusing more on the defense of the village from the center. Until Buck Hyunghwa creates her magic artifact in a few days, it's only right that I do my best to protect the village. I should practice my footwork around the edges. While I am practicing footwork similar to the twin immortals dance around the edges. In the distance, someone is drifting around like me, heading my way. Why are you drifting around, too? She seemed eager to participate in the festival. I approach Buck Hyunghwa, who is awkwardly practicing her dance moves. As I approach her, she recognizes me somehow and looks at me. Is that you, Cultivator CO? Indeed, it's Miss Buck. Why are you drifting around here? I thought you were eager to participate in the festival. Ah, the dance is difficult. She laughs awkwardly. Curiosity strikes me, and I ask. By the way, how did you recognize me with the cotton cloth covering your face? She hid her consciousness inside her head, like mortals, to enjoy the festival. She couldn't have used her consciousness, but she recognized me instantly. With the cotton cloth covering the front, you can only see the sides and the feet of the person in front of you. How could I not recognize you, Cultivator CO? The clothes, the shoes, I made them all. Why wouldn't I recognize them? She retorts. And how did you recognize me, Cultivator CO? My face is covered, and there was no feeling of consciousness. Ah, I begin to respond while matching her dance moves. I remember your breathing, heartbeat, body shape, scent, shape of your hands, and so on. Even if your face is covered, those things don't change. At my words, she's taken aback and asks. Why in the world would you remember such things? Ah, that's because, I am about to say, it's a habit from when I reached the peak, but realize it sounds odd. Even if I meant the peak of martial arts, she probably isn't interested in the realms of martial arts. It sounds a bit perverted. Should I just say it's a usual habit? I usually memorize people's breathing, heartbeat, body shape, scent, and so on. Somehow, that also feels incredibly creepy. Why am I even worrying about this? It's not only about people, but I also apply this sense to the surrounding environment, so I never felt it was strange. Well, let's keep it simple. I choose the most normal sounding answer I can think of. It's just that Miss Buck, you are particularly memorable. Yes, this should sound normal enough. We gradually match our dance steps, moving from the edge of the clearing towards the center. Is something wrong? I glance at her. Bak Hyunghwa has said nothing in response to my answer. Is she feeling unwell? For some reason, her neck above her clothes is flushed red. Miss Buck, are you alright? Quote. Miss Buck, stop talking, Taoist CEO. The dance is complicated enough without you confusing me. Haha, sorry about that. The tips of the fans we are holding brush against each other. At the same time, my formless sword encircles the village, driving away the venomous creatures rushing towards it. I step to the left 3 times, completing a full circle. Bak Hyunghwa moves just like me, also turning a full circle, and once again, our fan tips brush against each other. Before we knew it, we had entered the center of the clearing, and the second act of the dance began. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. The young men of the village began to remove the white cotton cloths covering the faces of their dancing partners. I, following the others, remove the cloth covering Bak Hyunghwa's face. Ah, finally, I can see. She seems overheated from the cloth, her face flushed and warm. Once again, our fan tips brush against each other. We take another 3 steps to the right, completing another circle. My formless sword as well circles the village, forming several overlapping rings and scattering in all directions with numerous transformations, repelling the venomous creatures. In the center of the village, numerous torches, the drumming, the zither, and the plucking pipas resonate, along with the footsteps of the youth. Miss Buck, even though you can see, you seem to be struggling with the dance. Are you not good with physical movements? Are you teasing me about being uncoordinated, Taoist CEO? Considering how you couldn't even dress properly, you're not one to talk, are you? Haha, my apologies. Our fan tips brush several times, and we chuckle, teasing each other amidst the unique festival of the mountainous region. Some are laughing, some are crying, and some are beating the drums. Others are praying in front of the scrolls depicting the 2 immortals. On the scroll is an immortal wielding a spear and an immortal with a ribbed fan, depicted after they had defeated the evil demon. The 2 immortals, having laid down their weapons, were drawn dancing in a circle, holding fans. The immortal with cloth covering their face and the other with the ribbed fan were only depicted with their mouths, but both were smiling gently at each other. Chapter 104, Lotus 12. Translating Novice. The excitement of the twin immortals' dance gradually subsided as the moon reached its zenith, and the event slowly came to an end. It was tough, but quite enjoyable. Bak Hyunghwa says with a light smile, wiping off her sweat. I'm glad you liked it. After the festival ended, I've been repeatedly practicing the dance steps and movements I had performed at the festival and replied. But, what are you doing, Taoist CEO? Oh, somehow this dance move is boom, boom, boom. I spin around several times, drawing out the hidden movements within the dance. It resembles a spear technique. Bang! I wrap gangchi around my hand in the air, and as I thrust into the void, the spear technique hidden in the dance materializes in my hand. This spear technique seeks the integrity of unity in offense and defense. The martial principles of the spear technique naturally blends into the dance, allowing me to grasp it while performing the twin immortals dance. It's been hundreds of years since I began practicing martial arts. I can easily understand the underlying principles and martial logic of martial arts below a certain level. I perform the spear technique several times, attempting to fully restore it. This is a remarkable spear technique. It doesn't quite match the 24 moves severing mountain swordsmanship improved by Kim Young-hoon, but it's definitely comparable to the 12 moves severing mountain swordsmanship he created for me in the early days. After trying to restore the spear technique, I turn my gaze to Bak Hyunghwa, who is looking at me curiously. I think I've seen this in Cheonsak City. Is this martial arts? Yes, it's a self-defense technique practiced by mortals. It's considered trivial by cultivators, but if mastered properly. Whoosh! I demonstrate the formless sword. It's possible to reach such a level. Zoom! The formless sword flies in all directions, shooting down the creatures trying to invade the village. Ah, so the technique you have, Taoist CEO, was originally martial arts. Well, not originally. It still is martial arts. In truth, calling it martial arts is an understatement, given its now immense power. Anyway, I display the formless sword again. I shared this with you so that if Miss Buck wants to create a magic artifact, you could refer to it. Oh, you've been quite negative until now. Have you changed your mind? Suddenly, I thought it wouldn't be bad to have a magic artifact that martial artists can use too. Ah, I see, she smiles slyly. But what to do? I was planning to create a magic artifact suitable for Taoist CEO, not for martial artists. Well, once it's complete, let's take a look at it later. I nod easily. Now that she knows I'm a martial artist, a suitable magic artifact will be completed for martial artists eventually. Then, since we had fun at the festival, shall we get to work? Boom. She takes out the portable workshop from her storage device and enters. It seems she's about to create the protective magic artifact for the village. Clang, clang, clang. Sounds of hammering resound from within the workshop, and I smile at her before heading back to the outskirts of the village. The night deepened, and from that day on, Buck Hyunghwa and I grew a bit closer. A few days later, boom, 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 boom. Buck Hyunghwa brings out 4 totems. These are protective magic artifacts designed to last about 2 years. If you install them at the 4 corners of the village, venomous creatures won't be able to invade. Thank you, Immortal. As soon as Buck Hyunghwa's totems are installed at the village's 4 corners, they emit light and form a barrier covering the village. Soon after, the barrier shines and becomes transparent, and the totems also shine transparently, becoming invisible. In case the cultivator clans come to the village and find the magic artifacts, I've added a hiding function to avoid any nuisance. That's a good idea, I nod, and, the next day, after confirming that the creatures couldn't properly invade the barrier, we decide to depart. How can we ever repay this kindness, immortals? It's nothing, and, I briefly think of the folklore book held by the village child but shake my head. It'll be better to come back and persuade her when she's older. We also had a good time at the festival. It's been an honor. After exchanging farewells with the villagers and receiving their parting wishes, we ride the flying artifact and soar again. We venture through the mountainous terrains, making our way to Shanxi's bustling central capital. Our travels take us to the borders of Shanxi, where it meets Yangguo, and into the heart of Yangguo's capital. We explore the myriad of places scattered throughout Yangguo and eventually find ourselves in the western expanse of Biokra, among many places. Buck Hyunghwa and I toured numerous locations and introduced her to unique cultures. Yangguo was particularly chaotic due to the recent change in its ruling dynasty, but Buck Hyunghwa seemed to enjoy its distinctive atmosphere. Thus, we returned to the eastern part of Biokra. To Cheonsak City. It was a return after about 4 months. I am truly sorry about what happened. In Cheonsak City, Cheonmin Jungjin and Cheonmin Ryong were waiting. When the teleportation array activated again, it emitted a red light, so we didn't dare to enter. Since then, we prayed for your souls, thinking you had perished, and flew back west to Cheonsak City. Cheonmin Ryong continues Cheonmin Jungjin's words. Fortunately, your father, Cultivator Buck, confirmed your survival and was waiting. Buck Jongho speaks while holding a ring necklace around his neck. As long as Hyunghwa is alive, this ring connected to her Norige shines like this. One side of the ring is brightly lit. Anyway, I'm relieved that both you and Taoist CEO have returned safely. We were worried but now feel reassured. Anyway, since it was my negligence as the clan head that led you into danger, I'll compensate you later. Buck Hyunghwa laughs and accepts the apologies of Cheonmin Jungjin and Cheonmin Ryong. It's okay. Thanks to that, I got to see the world's end and tour various places, growing closer to Taoist CEO. I have no scruples either. Fortunately, I was able to survive using a hidden technique I had kept. Since I am alive, I won't dwell on the past. I also accepts his apology and decline the compensation. However, Cheonmin Jungjin speaks more seriously. Not to dwell on the past. The past doesn't disappear. Since I've indeed made a mistake, if you refuse compensation, let's agree that we'll fulfill one wish for the 2 of you when possible. Yes, let's do that. I also won't refuse if the clan head insists. Buck Hyunghwa and I nod, securing a favor from Cheonmin Jungjin. After apologizing again, Cheonmin Jungjin returns to the main house of the Cheonmin clan due to clan matters. Now, let's start researching the formations again, or so I'd like to say. Cheonmin Ryong glances at Buck Hyunghwa and speaks. First, it seems you need time to rest from the journey, so let's start the research in 3 days. Understood. Yes. She talks with Buck Jongho, unpacks, and pours out the magic artifacts she made during the journey, along with those she bought in Shanxi and Yangguo, at the magic artifact stores. I cast a simple perception obscuring spell on the walls of Cheonsak City and climb up, gazing at the endless desert in the distance. In Yangguo, a city referred to a kind of administrative system and the region around it, but in Biokra, a city meant just one city. So Cheonsak City also referred to just this one city. I am lost in thought, feeling the bustling intent within this small city and the vast spiritual energy emanating from the desert in front of me. Over the past 4 months. Honestly, it was fun. And at the same time, I felt like I understood why Kim Young-hoon in my previous life told me to live a proper life. My mind feels at ease. I didn't realize it until I became closer to Buk Hyung-hwa. During this journey, getting closer to her, I discovered that being by her side significantly relaxed my mind. It felt like a momentary escape from the unspoken pressure that had tightly bound me. But I control my emotions. I can't go any further than this. Parting with disciples, masters, friends, and countless Kim Young-hoons. The pain and agony I have experienced. If love between a man and a woman connects, how great would the pain of parting be? There is no love between friends. So, no matter how close we are, I can bury that pain in my heart and somehow move forward. But if my emotions deepen further into love, I might not be able to move forward. In the worst case, my mind might even collapse. I can't let that happen. Let's leave the happy memories of the past 4 months just as they are. Let's ensure these memories don't cross the line into more dangerous emotions. Just when I decided, whoosh, the sunset is visible from Cheonsak City, and a familiar spiritual aura settles behind me. It's Buk Jong-ho. He climbed up to the end of the city wall and sat next to me. So, was your journey with the young lady enjoyable? Miss Buk's bright nature made it far from boring. Haha, I'm glad it was fun. He suddenly looks at me with a meaningful expression. By the way, I noticed the change in how you address each other. The young lady calls you Taoist instead of cultivator. Ah, and your way of addressing her changed a bit too. I cough lightly and say, please do not worry, I have no feelings beyond friendship for Miss Buk. Besides, I heard that Miss Buk has a destined partner chosen by her mother. Ah, that. Buk Ju-ho chuckles and looks at the setting sun. The sun is sinking beyond the horizon. How do you know if the person coming to meet her will be a man or a woman? If it's a woman, they could just become sworn sisters, right? Haha, so there's a 50% chance they're destined partners. Shouldn't I be cautious anyway? 50% chance, huh? So you haven't considered the possibility that they might not come to meet her at all? Yes, Buk Jong-ho smiles bitterly. The young lady waits because it's her mother's last wish, but who knows about the other side? They might not keep the promise as earnestly. Even so, let me be frank. The sun dips below the horizon, and the sky turns purple. The surroundings begin to darken. There is no destined partner for my daughter. Excuse me, my ring necklace is connected to 2 magic Norige artifacts. One belongs to my daughter. If the owner of the artifact is alive, the other side of the ring necklace, look here. He extends the ring necklace he is wearing towards me. When the young lady was 11, a few years after her mother's death, about 11 years ago from now, the light on the other side of the ring went out. Her destined partner, there's no such person anymore. They're dead, whether it was accidental, sudden, homicide, or suicide. He says with a bitter smile. If the owner changes, there should be a sign, but the fact that it's been years without any light means the likelihood is high that the other person died alone in a foreign land. Quote. Quote. The young lady already knows. The Norige has been linked to the other pair since the beginning, so she must have known for a long time. She's just using her mother's last wish as an excuse, not leaving this city to relive her memories with her mother. Buk Jong-ho continues, looking at me. I pride myself on my ability to judge people. That's why I agreed to the bet proposed by that kid Byuk Moon Seong last time. I recall the Chi building cultivator from the Byuk clan. He was full of impure intentions. But I swallowed the thought that came to mind and chose to stay quiet. In my opinion, you seem like a pretty decent person. Honestly, you look even better than the guy from the Byuk clan. What about you? Do you not have feelings for the young lady? Quote. Quote. I remain silent for a moment, then give a bitter smile. I apologize, but I have no feelings beyond friendship for Miss Buk. After looking at me thoughtfully for a moment, Buk Jong-ho stands up and dusts himself off. My judgment is usually accurate. I'll keep an eye on this. Whoosh. He heads back down the city wall, and I turn my head. The lights in various parts of Cheonsak City had turned on, illuminating the entire city. I gaze endlessly at the city. The next day, Buk Hyung-hwa was kidnapped. This is. Buk Jong-ho's face contorts with rage. He came to Cheongman Ryong, holding the red flamed ring necklace. Hyunghwa is sending a distress signal right now. Please help. A distress signal. This is a signal used only when kidnapped. Hearing Buk Jong-ho's words, Cheongman Ryong's face also contorts. How dare they? Kidnapping a cultivator working with the Cheongman clan means they're disregarding our clan's authority. Cheongman Ryong stands up indignantly. I also frown and rise from my seat. Please explain what happened. Buk Jong-ho gradually details the situation. When he woke up in the morning, Buk Hyunghwa was not in her room. The room was unnecessarily disheveled, and there were traces of the previous night's formation being skillfully dismantled. Currently, a distress signal is being sent through the ring necklace connected to the Norige. Who suddenly kidnapped her? I heighten my senses. First, please take me to Miss Buk's room. In the state of heightened demon senses, I decide to track the flow of spiritual energy. Whoosh! In the middle of the desert, a flying artifact, shaped like a flying sword, is rapidly moving. On the artifact, Byuk Moon Seong is shaking off the sandstorm, holding a large sack over his shoulder. Stay calm, Lady Hyunghwa. Regardless of how much you struggle, you were kidnapped as part of my plan, prepared over the last 4 months. I don't know where you've been, but thanks to you, I had plenty of time to prepare and execute the plan swiftly and secretly. He says with a confident smile to Buk Hyunghwa, who is wriggling inside the sack. Especially since I scattered subtle hidden fragrance, without special tracking demon beasts, they won't be able to track us. Those beasts are also handled by my Byuk clan. I've spoken to the elder handling demon beasts, and for the next 7 weeks, no demon beast will be found in any market of Biokra, so it's better to give up. Wriggle, wriggle, yet the movement inside the sack do not stop. Byuk Moon Seong looks southward with a sneering expression. First, we'll head to Yangguo through a ship prepared at the southern coast. After staying in Yangguo for a few months, we'll head to the Byuk clan's territory. In the meantime, it's in your best interest to follow my words. I can maximize your potential just like the Mad Lord did, so it won't be all bad for you. Ha ha, stop squirming. Even as a cultivator, you can't do much with your hands and feet tied and your spiritual power sealed. Snap, swoosh. Byuk Moon Seong is startled and looks back. The sack he is carrying burst open, and Buk Hyunghwa, who was inside, falls out and drops downwards. What? Whoosh. Buk Hyunghwa uses a spell to land safely on the desert and glares at Byuk Moon Seong. I never thought you, Sir Byuk, would resort to such lowly tactics. Ah, no, I tied her hands and feet and even attached a seal to block her spiritual power. Buk Hyunghwa raises her hand. A small beetle-shaped puppet is on her hand. The beetle puppet is just about to swallow a piece of talisman that looks like a fragment of a seal. I made this inspired by Senior Mad Lord's puppets, and it's quite handy. Ah, no, you made that while tied up. All that wriggling was actually you making the puppet out of wood shavings. Byuk Moon Seong momentarily panics but then laughs. Indeed, Lady Hyunghwa is impressive. I'm even more curious to see what happens when your potential blooms. Trust me, Lady Hyunghwa. I really have a way to awaken your potential, just like the Mad Lord did. If you had come to me respectfully to discuss this, I would have listened, but this rudeness is too much to bear. Buk Hyunghwa coldly eyes Byuk Moon Seong and fiddles with her earring. The earring emits light and spits out a storage device. Byuk Moon Seong's face contorts. Ha, it's a storage device. But just a few artifacts cannot bridge the power gap between chi building and chi refining. Then, as Buk Hyunghwa opens the device, dozens, hundreds of flying sword artifacts burst out, embedding themselves all around. Boom, 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 boom. Whoosh. As Buk Hyunghwa breathes life into them, the hundreds of flying sword artifacts begin to shine and levitate. Damn it, Byuk Moon Seong's face turns pale. If you keep resisting, I'll have no choice but to take you by force. Hold your nonsense. Ah, just as Byuk Moon Seong is about to gather his pure spiritual force. Byuk Moon Seong and Buk Hyunghwa simultaneously look in one direction. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Something colorless is stirring up a sandstorm, flying towards them. In the center of the sandstorm, a figure flickers. Byuk Moon Seong frowns. Damn, who's already chasing us? How did they find us? Without a tracking demon beast, it should be impossible. He takes out a flying sword artifact from his storage device and shouts at the figure in the center of the sandstorm. Come on, come and see. I was once called the sword genius of the Byuk clan. Whoosh, boom, a colorless sword light whizzes past Byuk Moon Seong, creating a huge valley in the desert and causing an explosion in a sand dune far away. Coo goo 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 goo. The ground shakes and sandstorms whirl in all directions. Byuk Moon Seong's face turns deathly pale. Is it a core formation senior? Ah. Conversely, Buk Hyunghwa recognizes the owner of the sword light, and her face brightens momentarily. And in that brief moment when she's distracted, Lady Hyunghwa, we must run. What? Let go of me. With a face as white as a sheet, Byuk Moon Seong approached Buk Hyunghwa, picked her up, and jumped onto the flying sword artifact. Wait a moment, Lady Hyunghwa, this is not the time to fight among ourselves. A core formation senior is furious. Running away is our only chance to survive. No. Zoom. Byuk Moon Seong shoots into the sky, fleeing. As Buk Hyunghwa forms hand seals, numerous flying sword artifacts embedded in the desert floor rise to chase them, but they can't keep up with Byuk Moon Seong, who is driving the artifact with pure spiritual force. The owner of the sword light that had stirred up the sandstorm while chasing them, Seo Eun-yun, looks at the two with a disbelieving expression. This guy is causing trouble for everyone. He recalls what Buk Jong-ho said the previous night with a hollow laugh. Cultivator Buk, your judgment of people seems a bit off. To think you liked that guy. Seo Eun-yun kicks off the ground and chases after Byuk Moon Seong with his formless sword. Hi, Hyuk, Senior. I don't know what's happening, but please spare me. Unable to recognize Seo Eun-yun's face obscured by the sandstorm, Byuk Moon Seong screams and runs away, while Seo Eun-yun silently pursues him. Thus, the chase in the desert began. Stop annoying me. Just stop right there. Boom, crash. Once again, Seo Eun-yun strikes down with the formless sword. Another valley appears in the desert, and Byuk Moon Seong, overwhelmed with terror, pours all of his pure spiritual force into the flying sword artifact. Seeing the disaster caused by the mysterious core formation cultivator pursuing him, Byuk Moon Seong gasps for air. A monster-like core formation cultivator is furiously chasing me. If I don't run faster, I'll die. Kugugu kugugu kugugugugu. And Byuk Moon Seong feels the mysterious core formation cultivator gathering power. I'm going to die. Something transparent, cutting through the air, flies towards him. Chapter 105. Lotus 13. Translating Novice. Dust scatters in the air. I swing my sword. Boom, boom, boom. 3 valleys appear in front, and what looked like a mountain range at the end split into 3 parts. As Byuk Moon Seong panics, I close in on him. I reach out and grab one of the hundreds of flying swords trailing behind him. Whoosh! Even just in the air, the formless sword exudes terrifying power, and when combined with a sword, its concentration increases even more. As I overlay the formless sword onto the artifact, it activates an emitted spiritual energy. Flash! It seems like a fire attribute flying sword. As flames burst forth, the formless sword catches the flames, creating a massive fiery sword. Whoosh! Boom! Swinging the artifact overlaid with the formless sword, a massive fiery slash flies out, turning the desert into a glassy wasteland. Each swing brings Byuk Moon Seong closer due to his fear affecting his control of spiritual power. I grab another flying sword and swing again. A water attribute flying sword. Swoosh! The desert in front transforms into a swampy area. I swing a wood attribute flying sword, corresponding to the Gen trigram containing the attribute of thunder, and lightning strikes all around, melting parts of the desert into glass. Arg! Caught in the lightning, Byuk Moon Seong screams and loses control of his flying sword, plummeting downwards. Plunk! He falls into a sand dune, and Buk Hyunghwa, who had managed to escape from his grasp, summons her artifacts nearby and safely land on one. You are unharmed. You could have just waited a bit and caught this guy, but you had to come and complicate things. No matter how many artifacts you have, you shouldn't underestimate the power of a chi-building cultivator. I point at him, crawling out of the sand dune. SSSS's. Yin Soul Ghost Incantation. Swoosh. Several curse spells fly towards him, embedding directly into his head. Arg. Restrain. Screech. The curse spell burrows into his upper dantian, creating a mental restraint. He rolls his eyes back, foaming at the mouth, and collapses. I approach him, forming hand seals. Why did you do this? Herc. Answer, and the pain will lessen. Answer me. He starts babbling while drooling. I alone recognize her true worth. I alone can help her grow. So you kidnapped her for that? That's right. Buk Hyunghwa, who has approached, asks coldly. And what was that about being able to help me grow? What does that mean? Answer. Whoosh. I trigger the curse spell slightly, and Byuk Moon Seong, his eyes rolling back, replies. The Byuk clan, recently, in the desert, found it. What is it? The ruins of the Zhou clan. I ask curiously. The Zhou clan? What kind of clan is that? I see Buk Hyung Hwa's face turn serious. You found the ruins of the Zhou clan. Is the Zhou clan a famous clan? I ask puzzlingly, and Buk Hyung Hwa nods gravely. Unless you've spent a long time in eastern Biokra, you might not know. The Zhou clan, gone extinct 1,000 years ago, was shrouded in all kinds of mysteries. 1,000 years ago, they were renowned in all areas of creation: artifacts, puppets, talismans, elixirs. The most well-known fact to the general public is. Her explanation makes me startled. The clan of the Mad Lord, Zhou Yian. The Mad Lord's clan. I become astonished and look at Byuk Moon Seong. 1,000 years ago, they ruled all of Biokra, boasting tremendous power, then vanished overnight. Some say the Mad Lord, in his madness, exterminated his own clan, but that seems implausible. I recall what the Mad Lord had sobbed. I exterminated my own clan that killed her. ... I fall silent, and Buk Hyung Hwa continues interrogating the delirious Byuk Moon Seong. So, what did you find at the Zhou clan ruins? In the ruins of the Zhou clan, of the Mad Lord Zhou Yian, a special, elixir formula, was discovered that enhances the talent of descendants who possess the extraordinary pattern law talent, growing their abilities. A special elixir. What is it? With a groan of resistance, he starts to speak under my mental restraint. It's an elixir that, besides enhancing spiritual power, significantly amplifies emotions by incorporating the resentful souls of the ingredients used in the chi building pills in its refining process. The extraordinary pattern law talent has a nature where if emotions fluctuate beyond a certain level or through the accumulation of experience over a long period of effort, growth of quality is possible. From 7 patterns to 6, from 4 to 3, from 2 to 1. For Buk Hyung Hwa, who is a 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent, with enough effort accumulated, there's a possibility to reach the level of 3 patterns. I remember the half-mixed patterns of black and purple that had appeared on her. Only I can help her grow, awaken her talent. Is there anything else you wish to ask? No, that's enough. I form a spell and place my hand on his head. What should we do with him? I can turn him into an idiot if you want. After pondering, she shakes her head. Let it be. He has shown me kindness before, so let's call it even. Buk Hyung Hwa coldly looks down at Byuk Moon Seong. But this is it, Cultivator Byuk. There's nothing between you and me anymore, no next time. You hear that? Remember her words. I softly trigger the curse. Screaming, he passes out, likely retaining only the memory of Buk Hyung Hwa's final words. Let's go. Okay. Buk Hyung Hwa gathers her flying sword artifacts and ascends on a flying artifact with me back to Cheon Seok City. Feeling the desert wind, I ask her. Aren't you curious about the formula for that elixir? It could be beneficial for a cultivator like you. She gives an awkward smile. Most cultivators don't know, but do. You know the main ingredient of the chi building pill, Taoist Seo. I'm aware. Then, it's easier to explain. My father told me that human life force and essence blood are used in the chi building pill. That formula is based on it, so I'd rather not consume it. Most cultivators consume it knowingly. Why don't you? Have you consumed any chi building pills, Taoist Seo? I smile wryly. I haven't. Then you understand. I'd rather not. I see. And I've been thinking. Buk Hyung Hwa gently touches the skin where her patterns were visible. If talent can grow through experience and effort, I'd prefer to grow that way. A wise choice. We continue to talk about talent and cultivation on our way back to Cheon Sak City. Upon returning, she embraced Buk Jong Ho, who finally relaxed and hugged her back. When asked about the kidnapper, Buk Hyung Hwa didn't mention Byuk Moon Seong, only deciding to increase her room's security and protective artifacts. Thus, the kidnapping incident concluded. A few days later, we resumed our discussions on the formation method. The remaining parts included the external and inner array methods conceived in Serving Command Palace and the coordination between the formation artifacts. We spent months redesigning the formation method, now nearing completion. The last part is the most tedious and time-consuming. We need to focus on trial and error to finalize the formation. What remained was for Buk Hyung Hwa to create the formation artifacts, attract dragon veins to support the longevity tree, and finally tune the formation to the longevity tree. This is time-consuming due to gathering the dragon veins. The formation artifacts were quickly completed. Buk Hyunghwa made 72 formation flags and 36 formation discs, which Cheonmin Ryong and I adjusted to fit the formation alongside Buk Hyunghwa. Now, we just have to wait for the dragon veins to gather after installing the formation. We need a place for test trials. Cheonmin Ryong suggests, and Buk Hyunghwa, adjusting the formation artifacts, replies. Should we find a place rich in dragon veins? That would be ideal. Any suggestions? She hesitates before responding. There is a place near Cheonsak City. Let's go there. To install the formation there, we need my father's permission. Is it his property? With a bittersweet smile, she says. It's my mother's grave. Embarrassed, Cheonmin Ryong coughs and looks away. We can't do a formation experiment on your mother's grave. We should look for another location, even if it's a bit farther. I believe my father will grant permission. Buk Hyunghwa puts down the formation flags on the table. The purpose of this formation is to gather dragon veins to grow plants and trees, correct? Although my mother's grave is in a desolate desert, some small plants grow due to the dense dragon veins. If the formation could make my mother's grave more vibrant, I don't see why my father wouldn't agree. I'll ask for his permission. Cheonmin Ryong coughs and nods in agreement. All right, then please do. Buk Hyunghwa leaves to seek permission from Buk Jong-ho, and soon after, he enters the conference room where we are designing the formation. After hearing again about the formation's effects from Cheonmin Ryong, he nods in approval. She would have liked it. I entrust this to you, cultivator Cheonmin. If you say so. Thus, the test trial site for the formation was decided to be the grave of Buk Hyunghwa's mother, Buk Jong-ho's wife. The spirit tablet is inscribed with the name Yeon Lien Lotus. Buk Hyunghwa's mother, Buk Jong-ho's wife. Her name is Yeon. Buk Jong-ho pours some liquor at Yeon's grave and then closes his eyes for a moment. Yeon's grave is in a sandstone cave a little away from Cheonsak City. Or maybe it's not ordinary sandstone. Due to the active dragon veins, the rocks seem to have transformed into a special ore infused with spiritual energy. Whether Buk Jong-ho had created it or not, the cave's ceiling is open to the sky, letting in light. Thanks to the light, various unknown flowers and grasses have sparsely grown inside the cave. This location, I recall the memory of Buk Hyunghwa giving me water for the first time in my past lives. It seems she used to visit this cave even then. Please set up the formation, cultivator Cheonmin. Understood. Cheonmin Ryong and I place formation flags and discs around the grave, outside, and at various distant spots. The formation flags attract the surrounding spiritual energy and the formation discs gather the dragon veins. Soon, spiritual energy gathers in the center of the grave, enhancing the vitality around. The sparse grass and flowers begin to flourish more vigorously. Cheonmin Ryong and I complete the external formation setup and then move inside to adjust the inner formation. My wife had no cultivation talent in her life. It's fortunate she now rests in a place filled with spiritual energy. Buk Jong-ho spoke while looking at the grave. Cheonmin Ryong looks at the spirit tablet and asks him. Yeon, that's a beautiful name. She must have been a lovely wife. Yes, my wife was beautiful, a good mother. What is her family name? Buk Jong-ho answers with a bittersweet expression. My wife has no family name. Not because she lacked a family, but because her family was too eminent to give her one. He caresses his wife's grave as he speaks. Buk Hyunghwa also looks at her father's back with a melancholic expression. The esteemed cultivator from the Gongmyo clan, Elder Gongmyo Cheon-sak. My wife was his illegitimate daughter. A vein popped on Cheonmin Ryong's forehead. That lustful man, causing trouble again. I don't resent him. He was kind to me, and my wife, being a mortal without any cultivation potential, well, it wouldn't make sense for the Gongmyo clan to give the clan name to an illegitimate mortal daughter. I apologize on behalf of my friend for his mistake. No need. Thanks to Elder Gongmyo Cheon-sak, we have Cheonsak City, and my wife and I could spend time here. After looking at the grave for a while, he takes out a small sapling of magnolia. Yeon loved magnolias. Please let this bloom. Certainly. Cheonmin Ryong plants the magnolia sapling behind the grave and connects the dragon veins of the formation to the magnolia. After 5 years, the dragon veins will accumulate spiritual energy, and then it will rapidly grow the magnolia. We can come back later to check on the dragon veins. He sighs lightly and looks at Buk Hyunghwa and me. Thank you all for your efforts. All that's left is to observe the formation for 5 years, solve minor issues, and conduct trial and error. 5 years. Cheonmin Ryong sighs softly. Even at this old age, instead of resting peacefully at the main house, I'm conducting tests on formations. Haha, I apologize for that. No, Taoist CEO, you have nothing to be sorry for. It was our clan head's command after all. Cheonmin Ryong pats his back and leaves, while I briefly look at the Buck father-daughter pair and leave the grave with them. And thus, 5 years passed. In Buck Hyunghwa's underground workshop. In its secret chamber. Stay strong, Miss Buck. HNNGH. I placed my hand on Buck Hyunghwa's back, infusing earth attribute spiritual power to support her. Not much longer now, with the techniques cultivator Cheonmin and I taught. You. Flash. The next moment, a light bursts from her eyes, and clouds of spiritual energy billow from her mouth. Whoosh. Possessing the roots of earth, wood, and metal, Buck Hyunghwa exhales and reabsorbs clouds of yellow, blue, and white spiritual energy. Then, suddenly, rumble. A sound like thunder seems to resound from her lower abdomen, indicating the circulation of pure spiritual force within her. For about 5 years, Buck Hyunghwa had been taking spiritual elixirs provided by her father Buck Jong-ho. Additionally, with the guidance of Cheonmin Ryong, a leading authority in spiritual awakening, and my teachings, she had reached the peak of chi refining. Following my advice, she learned additional basic methods tailored to her spiritual roots, bringing them all to peak cultivation. Along with her preparation and my help, she has finally reached the stage of chi building. Ah, pure spiritual force. She lifts her hand, showing the pure spiritual force swirling around it, and lets out a small cry of joy. Thank you so much, Taoist CEO. It's nothing. It was a friend's request after all. Haha, Senior Cheonmin is somewhat of a friend too, isn't he? Yet, he said he wouldn't help, didn't he? Well, cultivator Cheonmin is a member of the Cheonmin clan, so helping a non-Cheonmin cultivator with chi building might cause some gossip within his clan, right? She gives me a meaningful look, then opens the door of the secret chamber and walks out, laughing. Well, let's leave it at that. Now, let's visit the grave. It's time. Alright, over the past 5 years, Cheonmin Ryong, Buck Hyunghwa, and I have grown closer. And as I watch her walk away, I smile wryly. Buck Hyunghwa ascended to chi building, gaining an additional lifespan of 300 years. The spiritual energy accumulated in the dragon veins over 5 years activated the formation, rapidly growing the magnolia tree. Ah, we marvel at the purple magnolia blossoms inside Yian's grave. Especially Buck Jong-ho, who looks close to tears at the sight of the flourishing magnolia. Thank you, Cultivator Cheonmin. Cultivator CEO. And thank you, Hyunghwa. We should be thanking you for providing land rich in dragon veins. Cheonmin Ryong humbly accepts Buck Jong-ho's gratitude. Unlike 5 years ago, the grave is now vibrant with dense spiritual energy, causing the inner grass and weeds to grow abundantly. There's no need to gather the formation artifacts we've spread out. We've confirmed this formation works, so we can just make more if needed. That's right, thank you. Thanks to the formation designed by Cheonmin Ryong and me, Yian's grave will continue to be a place brimming with life. After expressing his gratitude again, Buck Jong-ho exchanges pleasantries with us. After the courtesies are done, Cheonmin Ryong looks at the formation and speaks. Now, I'll return to the Cheonmin clan and prepare a place near there similar to the first floor of Serving Command Palace, with similar dragon veins and environment. I'll wait another 5 years and test the formation there. If it works as well as it did here, we'll finally install the formation at the actual location of Serving Command Palace. Please do, and thank you. There's no need for Buck Hyunghwa's or my help in the remaining process. The formation artifacts are complete, and the formation is fully adjusted. What remains is Cheonmin Ryong's test trial. Then, see you in 5 years, Taoist CEO. Now that you're at the same level, Cultivator Buck. Yes, understood. Cheonmin Ryong packs up his belongings and returns to the Cheonmin clan. Aren't you leaving, Taoist CEO? There's no need for further adjustment to the formation, so my presence there is unnecessary. So, it's just Senior Cheonmin leaving, and you're staying. That seems to be the case. You could go somewhere else. Why insist on staying here? I can't find the words to respond and avoid her gaze. She notices my reaction and gently chuckles, taking me by the arm. Alright, since you're staying, for at least the next 5 years, you'll be in Cheonsak City, right? That seems likely. Then, how about we plant a new sapling in front of my mother's grave? Suddenly, you said you're staying, so let's commemorate that. Unable to resist, I'm led by her to the market and somewhat bewilderingly by a sapling. What kind of sapling did you get, Taoist CEO? Ah, a quince tree. I stroke the quince sapling. My old master used to say I resembled a quince tree, so I bought it in his memory. We each carry our saplings and enter Yian's grave. Aren't you curious about the sapling I got? Oh, I'm sorry. Haha, it's fine. My sapling is. She caresses a blooming magnolia flower. A white magnolia, just like my mother loved purple magnolias, I love white magnolias. I feel she suits white magnolia, much like her preference for white attire. We plant the quince and white magnolia saplings on either side of the purple magnolia tree. The formation is aimed at the purple magnolia, so our saplings wouldn't grow rapidly but will gradually and naturally grow beside it. Why did you suddenly decide to plant saplings, Miss Buck? I told you, didn't I? That's true, but I sense she has other, unspoken reasons, but can't bring myself to voice them first. Shall we head back? Let's do that. We return to Cheonsak City. That evening, I once again sat on the walls of Cheonsak City, facing the desert wind. You seem to enjoy contemplation, my friend. Buck Jong-ho approaches me from behind, echoing a scenario similar to 5 years ago. His question is similar as well. How is it going lately, getting closer to the young lady? I brush my face with one hand. Do you still have no feelings beyond friendship for my daughter? The same question as 5 years ago, but my answer has changed. I find myself fond of the miss. Ha ha ha, I knew it. My intuition was right. He chuckles heartily and sits beside me. In fact, 5 years ago, you already liked my daughter. You were able to hide your feelings back then, but now your affection has grown too strong to conceal, hasn't it? He accurately guesses my inner turmoil. I can't bring myself to remove the hand that covers my face. Falling for someone. He is right. 5 years ago, I merely hid my feelings, but now they're too evident. I like her, more than I can deceive myself. So, when will you confess to my daughter? From what I see, she won't reject you. But, sir, that is it, I have no intention of confessing to the miss. This love has to remain a beautiful memory. If it becomes more than a memory, and the subject of that love vanishes beyond time, I will surely go mad. At my response, Buck Jong-ho gives me a puzzled look. Are you part of a specific religion that forbids romantic relationships? No, or perhaps you have a preference for men. No, or maybe a special cultivation method that renders you incapable. No, then why? He crosses his arms and asks me. Why are you making such efforts not to be with my daughter since 5 years ago? Had you truly disliked my daughter, you would have left Cheonsak City with cultivator Cheongman. But you stayed, knowing your own heart. Yet you insist on not being with her. He looks at me, unable to understand, and I resort to a shallow lie. I practice a peculiar cultivation method. I continue explaining. It's called the one emotion method. It's a method that intensifies a specific emotion to cultivate special powers. I am using your daughter to amplify my emotions for faster cultivation. Staying here is just for advancing my cultivation. You're lying. I do practice the one emotion method. No, he looks me straight in the eyes. You said you use emotions for cultivation, right? If you were with my daughter, wouldn't your emotions deepen even more? Why wouldn't you choose that? Wouldn't that be more beneficial for you? Indeed, I practice the one emotion method to cultivate the 5 elements blood curse banner, but the emotion I use isn't love. Rather, it's calmness. Every time I think of Buck Hyung-hwa and feel my heart flutter, I deliberately use calmness as the emotion for my cultivation. But now, my affection has grown too strong, overshadowing my calmness. Please give me some time. I can't say anything more, and Buck Jong-ho looks at me with an unimpressed gaze. Fine, but I hope you make a decision quickly. My daughter has spent her life confined in the city, using her mother's last words as an excuse. Her fate, as I see it, is you. Without you, she might never meet her fated and will continue to confine herself even more. I hope for a quick decision. Buck Jong-ho descends the walls, and I close my eyes. Days passed, and another pleasant visitor came from the west to stir my calmness. How have you been, Eun-yun? It's Kim Young-hoon. Let's have a match. Flash. He draws his gold-bladed saber. Chapter 106. Lotus 14. Translating novice. What the? Without giving me a chance to be startled, Kim Young-hoon thrusts his saber towards me. Vroom, boom, a golden saber light strikes my body. As I have reached the chi building stage, my body is always enveloped in protective gang chi. Thus, I didn't sustain any injuries from the blow, and I am merely flung outside the city. Outside Cheonsak City in the heaven-treading desert. With no more eyes watching me, I don't hesitate to draw out my formless sword. Feeling the momentum of my formless sword, Kim Young-hoon's expression changes, but he charges at me with a smile. Vroom, boom, the golden light of his saber clashes against my formless sword. It's fast, and powerful, and then, Kim hung, that's all. You still haven't reached beyond the path to heaven. Boom, I repel his golden saber light and swing my formless sword towards Kim Young-hoon. He tries to counter with his golden saber light, but in an instant, my formless sword accelerates even faster, surpassing his speed. Clang, Kim Young-hoon barely manages to block my formless sword in a split second, but that's the end. He can't show me anything more. The speed of surpassing radiant saber caught up by formless sword. That's impossible. Surpassing radiant saber is the embodiment of extreme speed. A martial art that literally exists in the brief instance of time. That is surpassing radiant saber. Not so pathetic to be caught up in speed by the formless sword, which embodies freedom of trajectory. I estimate Kim Young-hoon's realm. The extreme of ultimate pinnacle. Just a bit beyond the extreme. That seems to be all. Kim Young-hoon laughs in vain and dissipates the golden saber light. As expected, the golden saber light doesn't return to his consciousness. It was just, golden saber gang. Right, I haven't reached beyond the path to heaven. The extreme of ultimate pinnacle. Honestly, even that is an insane speed. It's been almost 7 years now since the cycle began. In just 7 years, this person has broken through ultimate pinnacle and slightly exceeded its limits. Before, it took 10 years just to reach 5 energies. Converging to the origin, knowing that there exists a realm beyond the path beyond the heavens, and understanding the martial principle of it, the time of reaching that state seemed to accelerate as he trained more fervently with it as his goal. Even that much is an insane level of growth. Impressive. In my past life, Kim Young-hoon had spent decades reaching beyond the path to heaven. Instead, just his talent to mimic the realm of beyond the path to heaven with ultimate pinnacle realm martial arts is insane. But he doesn't seem to think so, looking at me with dissatisfaction. Who are you mocking? You, who reached beyond the path to heaven and chi building in less than half a year. Quote. And as you've seen, the golden gang chi I just showed was just imitating the realm of beyond the path to heaven. He raises the golden gang chi with dissatisfaction. Wu Wang, inside the golden gang chi, I feel the power of 9 gang spheres. Instead of naturally integrating gang spheres into consciousness and merging them, it's a method of forcibly breaking the gang spheres and integrating them, then controlling them within a single gang chi. Incredibly inefficient and has a short duration. Additionally, if there's even a tiny mistake when splitting the gang sphere, it could immediately impact the entire body's meridians, posing a risk of becoming disabled, a truly dangerous martial art. That's a dangerous martial art. It would be better not to continue using that. No problem. If one has the ability to detect and control every minute flow, there's no chance of becoming a cripple. I silently watch his golden gang chi. Ordinary people don't have the ability to control all those minute flows. It's a martial art that can only be used by leveraging Kim Young-hoon's overwhelming talent. But I shake my head and say, still, even if it momentarily catches up to the realm of beyond the path to heaven, it's too inefficient and dangerous in front of real strong opponents. Just me, for example. I'm confident I can suppress you using that within 10 seconds, without using the output of pure spiritual force and consciousness, and just with the formless sword. Quote. It wasn't a joke but a fact. If it's surpassing radiant saber, the embodiment of speed, it's unlikely. But that gang chi, in front of the trajectory embodiment of formless sword, is just the epitome of useless inefficiency. I can say this because I am in a higher realm. Moreover, originally, that was one of the many trials and errors Kim Young-hoon repeatedly went through at the extreme of ultimate pinnacle. In this life, I hadn't told Kim Young-hoon about the many trials and errors he had gone through from the ultimate pinnacle to beyond the path to heaven. It's a path that leads nowhere. Seeing Kim Young-hoon a bit downcast, I say to him. So, you've come all this way to the far eastern edge of Biokra. Yes, like you said, I've entered a strange path. I came to find you to break out of the mold of ultimate pinnacle. A wise choice. I nod. It's been over 200 years since I reached beyond the path to heaven. I am quite confident in guiding him on this path. I smile at him. His growth is ever accelerating. Every time he faces a new goal, Kim Young-hoon's talent seems to spring from an endless well, reaching higher and higher. Simultaneously, his rate of growth is quickening. Even if, by chance, I can't cultivate the longevity fruit in this life, perhaps, within the remaining 50 years, I might see the realm above beyond the path to heaven. Good. A new realm will be pioneered in this life. Kim hung, challenging me to a sparring match, besides the techniques you just showed, you must have something else up your sleeve, right? No, what I just showed was the result of long contemplation and my ultimate technique. I chuckle at his flustered reaction. Then you'll have to come up with something new right away. Rumble. Seeing Kim Young-hoon after so many years, I can't let it end with just this. I am itching for a proper martial duel. Don't worry, I won't use pure spiritual force and will match my consciousness with yours. If you want, I won't even draw out my formless sword. Honestly, whether I draw it or not, I've already mastered the change in trajectories, so it makes no difference. I grin and approach the person in front of me, finally a worthy opponent to spar with. Now I understand how Kim Young-hoon felt, exhilarated when he used to spar with me when I was just beginning in 5 energies converging to the origin and at the entrance of ultimate pinnacle. For someone who has been alone at the top for so long, the chance to play with anyone, even slightly close to the summit, is enticing. It doesn't matter how much lower in realm the opponent is. After all, besides such an opponent, most couldn't even find the entrance to the mountain, let alone reach the summit. I match his level, float 9 gang spheres, and charge at him. This is my friend, Kim Young-hoon, Miss Buck. Kim Hung, this is Miss Buck, who recently worked with me on a certain formation, Buck Hyung-hwa. Hello, but, Buck Hyung-hwa looks up and down Kim Young-hoon with a pitying gaze. Did you encounter bandits? In the eastern part of Biokra, it's common to meet bandit groups between cities. Wait a moment, I'll bring you some clothes. She looks at Kim Young-hoon who's in tatters with pity and goes inside her work area to get clothes. The lady from last time. Yes. Introducing me in this state, are you happy? He glares at me, rubbing his slightly swollen jaw from the beating. Ahem, I did heal you, didn't I? Did you have a lot of pent-up frustration at the company? Let's just say that. Honestly, I don't even remember the things that happened on Earth anymore, but I brush it off while avoiding Kim Young-hoon's gaze. But I didn't expect you to have already made a lady friend. Seems like your love life is going well. Kim Young-hoon, having read the intent between me and Buck Hyung-hwa, looks at me sharply. It's not exactly a romantic relationship. It isn't. He points outside the magic artifact shop with an incredulous expression. Outside, a couple that look like lovers are walking by. Do you see their intent? I do. And since you're at a higher realm than me, unless your brain is damaged, you would have seen your own and that lady's intent too. Damn, being equals in martial arts meant we couldn't hide our inner thoughts from each other. It's just, not that. What do you mean it's not? If you have eyes, you can see the intent you two are emitting towards each other. I avoid Kim Young-hoon's gaze, and he slaps his chest in frustration. You were like this in the company, but why are you so frustrating? Why are you even bringing up the company? It was almost 700 years ago, and honestly, I can't even remember. My memory and thinking has improved as my consciousness expanded, but still, 700 years is no short time. Right, you probably didn't know at the company. Back then, you couldn't even read intent, you dull guy. Excuse me, except you, all the department people knew, you fool. What are you talking about? I wish we were talking about martial arts instead. I couldn't follow what Kim Young-hoon was saying and just looked at him. Kim Young-hoon looks at me with pity, then just clicks his tongue. I don't understand his attitude and look at him puzzlingly. Later, when Buck Hyung-hwa came out with new clothes for Kim Young-hoon, I still didn't understand what he was talking about and just tilted my head in confusion. 2 days have passed since Kim Young-hoon came to Cheonsak City. I was helping Buck Hyung-hwa gather materials for magic artifacts, and told her what Kim Young-hoon said to me. So, suddenly he says everyone from my hometown knew. Miss Buck, what does this mean? Poohaha. Buck Hyung-hwa bursts into laughter hearing my words. No, Taoist CEO. Do you really not know? Am I the strange one? No, not strange, just a bit slow. Quote. I've heard that a lot before. She chuckles and says, among your hometown folks, there was someone who liked you, Taoist CEO. Huh, I am startled by her unexpected answer. Someone in our department liked me. There weren't many female staff in our department. There were about 8 female staff, one of whom was quite elderly, and 3 had boyfriends. Among those without boyfriends, who could have liked me? It could have been Deputy Manager Kong Min-hee, Deputy Manager Oh Hai-seo, Manager Kim Yeon, or Manager Shin. Manager Shin rarely interacted with me, so not her. A colleague then, but who? I press my temples, confused. Buck Hyunghwa watches me with a subtle expression. Does it bother you, Taoist CEO? It's a bit surprising but not really bothering. I brush off the thoughts with her voice. In fact, I hardly remember the other colleagues except for Kim Young-hoon. It's been 700 years. 700 long years without proper conversation. Whether someone liked me, I liked someone, we disliked each other, someone bullied me, we were indifferent, or someone I trusted. I don't remember who's who. My memories and feelings have all faded. Since they are not beside me now, I feel nothing. Rather, those with me now come to mind much more and are much more precious. You look tired. Let me help. I take the magic artifact materials from her reddened hands. It seems hot. We soon arrive at the workshop of White Magic Lotus. Quote. Anyway, Taoist CEO, there's something I want to show you. Buck Hyunghwa takes the materials from me and after arranging them inside, she calls me into the workshop. Come see. You might find it interesting. What is it? I follow her into the workshop. In the center of the workshop, something covered with a white cloth was placed. I tremble slightly at its outline. Is that? Yes, that's right. Whoosh. She removes the cloth, revealing what is beneath. A puppet. It's the Mad Lord's puppet brought from Serving Command Palace. You restored the Mad Lord's puppet. I can't restore the central circuit yet. It's too intricate, but I successfully restored the other circuits, so it can move if spiritual energy is infused. It can't exert full power, but it can output about 60% of its strength. She looks at me and asks, shall we try it out once? Sure, I readily agree. The Mad Lord's puppet. What level would 60% of the puppet's original strength be? Buck Hyunghwa and I took the puppet outside to the desert. Here I go. Vroom. She inserted a spirit stone into a slot in the puppet and infused it with consciousness, and the puppet flapped its wings and flew. Incredible. I marvel at the dense circuit swirling inside the puppet. Is it more intricate than a living creature's veins? Amazing. I see her command the puppet with her consciousness. The next moment, bang, quote. Exclamation mark quote. Startled, I released a gang sphere in front of me. Boom. Pure spiritual force shot from the puppet's rear in a sharp needle form, collides with the gang sphere. Such speed. The next moment, the bee puppet moves again, flying behind me and extending its stinger. Crack. I wrap my hand with pure spiritual force and catch the puppet's stinger. This speed. It's the speed of Kim Young-hoon using 5 gang spheres. Additionally, this attack uses the puppet's pure spiritual force in the form of a stinger. It's a chi building level attack. This is only at 60% of its full power. If the puppet could exert its full strength, it would be as strong as late chi building. Chilling. I indirectly experience the Mad Lord's power through the bee puppet. I shiver all over. How many such remains, like this bee puppet, were casually discarded in Serving Command Palace? Not just in Serving Command Palace, but also inside the Nether Crossing ship, there were a lot more than just a few of these remains. If the puppet could exert its full power, its speed would be comparable to Kim Young-hoon at the ultimate pinnacle using 9 gang spheres. Can a mere puppet achieve such speed? Snap. Lost in thought, the bee puppet cuts off the pure spiritual force stinger and moves away from me, shooting another stinger from its rear. Whoosh. The bee puppet rushes at me again. Boom. I grab the puppet's head and slam it into the ground. Impressive. Both the Mad Lord and Miss Buck who restored the Mad Lord's puppet. It wasn't that hard, really. It isn't a combat puppet and it wasn't too damaged. Quote. Excuse me. A puppet that moves at the speed of ultimate pinnacle and can deliver a chi building level blow in a moment is not a combat type. This isn't a combat type. Right. Apart from the stinger, it doesn't have any special attack features. It's just fast, without any peculiar devices. You can tell from the functions embedded in the puppet. Buck Hyunghwa approaches me and points at the puppet. In the area she indicated, there's an intricate formation, emitting strong spatial vibrations. This is a transport puppet used for carrying goods. I've marked a spatial coordinate inside the workshop. Look, as she tinkers with the back of the puppet, it hums and changes its posture. From an aggressive stance with its stinger out, it now assumes a peaceful and comfortable stance, extending its front legs. Bak Hyunghwa places a glass bracelet on its extended front legs, and the puppet embraces it. Using the spatial formation engraved on its body and its unique speed. Flash. As she manipulates the back of the puppet and enters some command, the bee puppet shoots forward at high speed and then suddenly disappears. It moves to the set coordinates through spatial movement to transport goods. Quote. The bracelet has just been put down in my workshop. And now, she takes out a small formation disc from her pocket. The formation disc is engraved with countless circuits, forming a small spatial formation. Flash. The next moment, the spatial formation lights up, and the bee puppet reappears before us. On the front legs of the bee puppet is a hammer from her workshop. It seems like this puppet was used to transport goods. In Serving Command Palace, there were countless such puppets of Senior Mad Lord. Quote. To think this wasn't even a combat puppet, but merely one for carrying goods. I laugh hollowly, feeling the Mad Lord's power indirectly. Even if I reach the heavenly being stage in both cultivation and martial arts, I wonder if I can ever compare to Mad Lord. I marvel at the puppet before me. Suddenly, I feel a strange emotion looking at the puppet. But this puppet, Miss Buck, did you say the central circuit of this puppet couldn't be restored? Yes, I couldn't understand what the circuits meant. May I try to control this puppet? You, Taoist CEO, aren't you unskilled in handling magic artifacts other than flying swords? I have a feeling I can handle this puppet well. After a moment of hesitation, she brings the puppet in front of me and briefly explains how to operate it. First, infuse your consciousness into this circuit and try moving it. Understood. I infuse my consciousness into the bee puppet. Countless circuits inside the puppet absorb my consciousness. There are 7 main circuits in total, among which you should sequentially infuse your consciousness into. Bak Hyunghwa is explaining something beside me, but I focus on the sensations coming from the circuits. As I thought, this is. My prediction is correct. Whoosh. I separate my consciousness inside the bee puppet. Consciousness is a collection of intent. And intent is a combination of countless colors. Among these colors are the 7 emotions that form the foundation of human emotions. I divide the consciousness I had infused into the puppet into 7 colors. Whoosh. The 7 massive circuits absorb the 7 colors separately. Simultaneously, I feel completely unified with the bee puppet, and it feels like I know exactly how to control it. Miss Buck, I have mastered the puppet. If you keep infusing consciousness periodically. What? Watch this. Vroom. Following my will, the bee puppet naturally soars into the sky, circling gracefully. It moves much more fluidly than when Bak Hyunghwa controlled it. How did you? The puppet controlled by her only moved in stiff, straight lines, but under my control, it moves freely. If Mad Lord has the vision of beyond the path to heaven, then naturally he would have the ability to see the colors of intent, the foundation of beyond the path to heaven's heart essence. How did you do that, Taoist CEO? I will explain. After controlling the bee puppet naturally for a while, I brought it back down to Bak Hyunghwa and explained my discovery. About the 7 emotions, and the colors of intent visible to those in the martial world who have reached the stages of 3 flowers gather at the summit and 5 energies converging to the origin. Bak Hyunghwa listened to my explanation, taking notes in her notebook. That night, Bak Hyunghwa was deep in thought, touching the circuits of the bee puppet in her workshop. The consciousness of the 7 emotions. It's an area she hadn't thought of. Applying human emotions to rigid magic artifacts. What exactly did Senior Mad Lord create? Even this bee puppet was just one relatively intact puppet among the countless remains in Serving Command Palace that day. There must be an astonishing number of such puppets in his usual abode. Shiver. Just as Seo Eun-yun felt a chill sensing the Mad Lord's power, Bak Hyunghwa also felt goosebumps realizing his genius. An unbelievable talent, truly an extraordinary pattern law talent. A talent surpassing even devils. Russell, she was analyzing the circuits when suddenly her face stiffened. Wait, if Taoist CEO is right, this puppet is, not just a puppet with emotions. Whoosh. 4 colored patterns appear on her face, and her eyes intensely focus inside the puppet. It's connected. Bak Hyunghwa analyzes the puppet circuits. This puppet, based on emotions, is interconnected with other puppets of Senior Mad Lord. It was designed like that. If I analyze the flow of emotions felt from this puppet in terms of circuit flow, after tinkering with the circuits for a while, she suddenly stops. Thud, one of her tools fell onto the puppet's body. Although the circuit got slightly mashed, Bak Hyung-hwa's face turns pale, and she trembles. Drip, blood trickles from her nose. Whir, the four-colored patterns on her skin burn brighter than ever. Impossible. Bak Hyung-hwa stands up and steps back from the bee puppet. Senior Mad Lord, just what were you trying to create? Her breathing hastens. She looks at the puppet in shock. A talent and concept surpassing devils. No, if my speculation is correct, the realm he was attempting to breach is one only permitted by the heavens. A realm taboo for mortals. An impossible fantasy and imagination. That is what Bak Hyung-hwa discovered to be Senior Mad Lord's goal. But, since he's crazy, could it be that he literally intends to violate the taboo to create it? Due to the extreme enlightenment from glimpsing a madman's taboo-breaking fantasy, Bak Hyung-hwa's qualities that were highly activated started to calm down. After calming her startled heart, Bak Hyung-hwa turned her gaze to a blueprint hung on one side of her workshop. It's a conceptual design of a Dharma treasure she was developing for Seo Eun-yun. A blueprint slowly being developed to meet the absurd conditions Seo Eun-yun had mentioned. But having glimpsed Mad Lord's plan and witnessing the numerous emotions contained in the puppet, she feels that her ongoing blueprint has been significantly supplemented. Bak Hyung-hwa approaches the blueprint of the Dharma treasure. If Senior Mad Lord's insane fantasy is true, whatever I create can never match his work. However, she picks up a working brush and slowly redraws the blueprint of the Dharma treasure. When in the hands of Taoist Seo, this work might at least follow in the footsteps of his creation. Rustle, Bak Hyung-hwa meticulously refines the blueprint of the Dharma treasure with a focused gaze. The martial art scene was a bait kek. What do y'all think Seo's Dharma treasure magic artifact is gonna be? Chapter 107, Lotus 15. Translating Novice. Is my magic artifact almost complete? Yes, the conceptual stage is nearly finished, and now I just need to precisely arrange the structure before starting the actual production. I feel a subtle sense of anticipation. Although I am not interested in external items, I am curious about what kind of magic artifact she has created. Can you tell me what kind of magic artifact it is? Ah, that's a secret. I'll let you know once I've completely laid out the structure. I see. And, Taoist Seo, you have a task to do. Oh, she takes my hand and leads me to her workshop. Starting today, Taoist Seo will also learn to make magic artifacts. Didn't you stipulate that the magic artifact should be easy enough for you to make as well? I let out a wry laugh. It seems that Miss Bulk wants to turn me into a craftsman to fulfill that condition. Ahaha, don't worry, it's really not that hard. You'll be able to make my designed magic artifact on your own if you can manage even the simplest thing. After some thought, I nodded. If that's the case, please teach me. After all, learning to make magic artifacts could be useful. And so, the education in artifact refining began. The beginning of magic artifact refining is getting used to crafting things. I became accustomed to using Bak Hyung-hwa's workshop, starting with crafting simple handicrafts. Whoosh, Z's. I look at the glass craft I just made with my own hands in Bak Hyung-hwa's workshop. Since beginners couldn't use precious materials, I started with making glass crafts from the abundant sand in the desert to get used to the act of making something. Bak Hyung-hwa looks at the glass craft I made. What is this? It's a cursed doll. It's among my cultivation methods. Cursed dolls are usually made in a human figure. Is this a starfish? It's supposed to be a human. At my words, Bak Hyung-hwa covers her mouth and looks away. I can sense her muscles moving, trying to suppress her laughter. It seems, Taoist Seo, that you don't have a talent for crafting. I've always lacked talent in making things. Phew. After a moment of thought, she says to me, let's keep trying. It'll get better over time. Thank you for the encouragement, but my crafting skills didn't really improve. The glass doll, which initially looked like a starfish, gradually became more human-like, but it still seemed inadequate in Bak Hyung-hwa's eyes. I was trained not only in artifact refining by Bak Hyung-hwa but also in their use. It seems necessary to become familiar with magic artifacts to make them. Bak Hyung-hwa, along with Kim Young-hoon who came to Cheonsak City, started special training with me. Vroom, she noted improvements, corrections, and new inspirations while observing the monster puppet I controlled against Kim Young-hoon. I maneuvered the monster puppet while also operating various magic artifacts given by Buk Hyung-wha to corner Kim Young-hoon. Ah! Boom! Kim Young-hoon is blown away by a magic artifact, stirring up a cloud of dust. The artifacts are powered by spiritual power, but since their movement strictly follows my lead, the training is beneficial for Kim Young-hoon, Buk Hyung-wha, and myself. I trained Kim Young-hoon, constantly showing him the path to the next realm and refining his skills. Buk Hyung-wha had me start with doll crafts and then practice making glass artifacts in the form of flying swords. Practicing in the form of a sword felt more familiar, and crafting became a bit easier. I endlessly created glass flying sword crafts, gradually becoming accustomed to crafting. Months passed. Before I came to my senses, I found myself working in Buk Hyung-wha's magic artifact shop. Although it wasn't artifact refining, I was the one managing the sales and explanations of magic artifacts to the cultivators who visited the store, as well as taking care of the artifacts themselves. Hey, boss, this saber seems a bit off. Kim Hung, you don't need a magic artifact anyway. Besides, the owner of this magic artifact shop is Miss Buck, not me. Cuckoo, when a couple runs a store, both are the owners. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Kim Young-hoon, who is examining a saber-shaped magic artifact, looks at me and says. Didn't you and Miss Buck practically live here for the past few months? Now, the cultivators who buy magic artifacts from Cheonsak City are spreading rumors that a young cultivator couple runs this place. Quote. Even Miss Buck's father thinks you and Miss Buck will get married soon. Ha ha ha, I don't know when you'll marry, but congratulations. Buk Jong-ho and Kim Young-hoon had become drinking buddies. Damn it, why has such a rumor spread? Feeling somewhat incredulous and dealing with Kim Young-hoon's nonsensical talk, I sent him out of the magic artifact shop and headed to the nearby market. I had come out on an errand to buy paper for Buk Hyung-wha, who needed it for her magic artifact designs. It was when I reached the paper store. Oh, isn't this the groom, Sir Seo? Excuse me, the old lady who owns the paper store hands me a bundle of paper with a chuckle. I saw you walking down the street with the daughter of the chief observer, looking quite cozy. I heard you've been living together lately, aren't you married yet? As I am bewildered, the old lady looks at me curiously and asks. Quote. We haven't married yet. Oh, you haven't reached that point yet. But everyone in the city knows you two are meant for each other, so why not get married soon? Ah, no. While I am flustered by the old lady's words, another shop owner comes out and adds to the conversation. Everyone in this city knows you two are lovers. That's right, we've been watching the two of you together for years. Quote. It seems the rumor has spread throughout the entire city, painting me and Buk Hyung-wha as a cultivator couple running the magic artifact shop. This is crazy. Why has such a rumor spread so far? I received the bundle of paper amidst people's premature congratulations and returned to the workshop. What, you're still not officially together? Kim Young-hoon, practicing his saber, says to me. I read his intent, block all his attacks, and reply. We haven't said anything to each other yet. I'm going to explode. I mean, you're one thing, but why hasn't Miss Buck said anything to you? I thought her intent was clear. Just stop it, please. I dodge and suppress Kim Young-hoon's blade, aiming at his vital points. Alright, you win this time. But, thanks to you, I'm getting the hang of it. Indeed, I could feel his speed gradually deviating from his usual patterns. If he continues training for a few more years, he might truly grasp the essence of Beyond the Path to Heaven. But why can't you grasp people's hearts? Confess to her properly and start dating already. Quote. I told you to stop. Sighing, I finish the spar with Kim Young-hoon and head down to Buk Hyung-wha's workshop for today's crafting practice. Behind me, I hear Kim Young-hoon yelling. Man, just confess already. It's so frustrating to watch. Frustrating to watch. I feel the same way. I sigh softly and enter Buk Hyung-wha's workshop. Years passed. Whoosh. In Buk Hyung-wha's workshop, I pick up a newly made glass sword artifact. Somehow, you've grown in your refining skills. This is almost indistinguishable from a real sword, isn't it? It's thanks to the Mrs. Good teaching. Not only the sword artifacts, but I also look at the glass dolls. My glass refining skills have improved significantly, and the dolls now closely resemble real human figures. Recently, I also began attempting to refine other items beyond dolls and swords. By the way, Taoist Seo, did you make another starfish? Quote. It's not a starfish. It's a flower. Oh, a flower. I'm sorry. No, it's my lack of skill. After some idle chat with her, I head outside. It's closely approaching 10 years since I came to Cheonsak City. I have become well acquainted with the streets of Cheonsak City and have grown familiar with its residents. In that long yet short time, many changes have occurred. Greetings, immortal CEO. Yes, greetings to you too. After exchanging pleasantries with an elderly passerby and greeting neighbors, I head out of Cheonsak City towards the heaven-treading desert. Among the various changes, the most significant is Kim Young-hoon's progress. Vroom, vroom. Through relentless training and meditation, Kim Young-hoon has nearly reached beyond the path to heaven. In a state of no mind, he dances with his saber, weaving countless martial principles, slicing every grain of sand carried by the winds of the heaven-treading desert. An insane display of martial prowess. Whoosh, whoosh. Gradually, his saber dance begins to be suffused with a golden hue. It's a pure, natural light, reminiscent of the sun itself. It's been like this for a few days now. He's on the brink of enlightenment. Really, Kim Hung, how far can you go this time? It's been only 10 years. In just a decade, he's about to cross the threshold to beyond the path to heaven, with over 50 years still left in his life. Show me. His saber dance accelerates. Was it called stepping on snow without a trace? Although it isn't a snowy field, he moves across the sandy terrain without leaving a single footprint. And then, suddenly, his heart essence is solidifying. I feel Kim Young-hoon's heart essence suddenly expand and become distinct. A giant pung made of golden rivers. As his heart essence becomes clear, a bright glow shines in Kim Young-hoon's eyes. His consciousness domain radiates like a golden sun, infusing into his saber. Beyond the path to heaven. Rumble. Surpassing radiant saber. Flash. A golden radiance explodes in all directions, shooting towards the heavens and slicing through a passing cloud over the desert. From within the golden light, Kim Young-hoon emerges with a face filled with all the joys of the world. I've reached it. Seo Eun-yun. With a hopeful expression, he holds his golden saber and speaks to me. Come at me. Whoosh. Surpassing radiant saber rushes towards me. Seeing its familiar speed, I smirk. This is it. This isn't some poor imitation, but the real, surpassing radiant saber. Boom. I draw out my formless sword and clash with the surpassing radiant saber, creating a massive explosion that sweeps across the desert. With a flicker of golden light, Kim Young-hoon disappears momentarily. I squint my eyes, scattering my formless sword in all directions. The formless sword transforms into a massive colorless storm, sweeping around me. Kim Young-hoon, as fast as light, dodges through the storm like a graceful bird navigating the winds. Impressive. Zap. Kim Young-hoon, having reached me in an instant, strikes down with his golden saber. I morph my formless sword to block his path and unleash countless colorless trajectories towards him. In the instant between seconds, thousands of clashes erupt. The desert landscape is carved out, sand melts into glass, valleys are created, and clouds are torn apart. Kaboom! I tear through the golden brilliance and strike upwards with my formless sword towards Kim Young-hoon. In an instant's gap, Kim Young-hoon defends against my formless sword with his near-light speed reflexes and strikes back nearly 30 times. I cover myself with the trajectory of the formless sword to block his attacks and launch him into the sky. Whoosh! We ascend, tearing through the desert clouds. Among the dry clouds, there is still some moisture, which immediately evaporates due to our movements. Only a handful of droplets are left around us. Boom! Our strikes send the handful of droplets flying, and soon, there are only a few droplets remaining. 7 droplets. Swoosh! Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber pierces through the trajectory of my formless sword and lunges at me. In an instant, my formless sword undergoes 73 changes, scattering the surpassing radiant saber and then attacking him with hundreds of variations. One of the 7 droplets bursts and evaporates during the clash. The remaining 6 droplets slowly fall downwards. We follow the droplets down, exchanging blows as if by agreement. Kim Young-hoon circles around me, pressuring from all sides. I extend my formless sword in all directions, catching his saber. This leads to another droplet bursting, leaving 5 remaining. Bang, bang, bang. After several more exchanges, we stare at each other, descending together at the speed of the falling droplets, with the ground slowly approaching below. Whoosh! I infuse the changes of my formless sword into 2 of the droplets in front of me and shoot them towards Kim Young-hoon. All the variations of the severing mountain swordsmanship contained within the formless sword are packed into those droplets. Recklessly intercepting them will result in being torn apart instantly. Kim Young-hoon observes the changes in the two droplets and, with his surpassing radiant saber in hand, precisely pierces through the weakest point of the transformations and rushes at me. The two droplets burst, leaving only 3 remaining between us. Kim Young-hoon's assault begins. He uses mountain wind to stab at me, and 1 more droplet bursts in the process. I barely dodge the thrust, but can't avoid a slight scratch on my face. Keying. Hundreds of thousands of variations erupt from my formless sword, engulfing Kim Young-hoon like a tidal wave. Kwang. He tries to escape the onslaught of changes but fails to shake off the techniques of my formless sword, falling straight down. Another droplet bursts, leaving only 1 remaining. We land on the ground faster than the last droplet, assuming our stances. The last droplet is on the verge of hitting the ground. Whoosh! Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber shines brightly. His internal energy connects to the surpassing radiant saber-like veins, drawing in external energy. The surpassing radiant saber acts as an external core, amplifying his energy. Kim Young-hoon holds his stance in that state. I too grasp my formless sword. Simultaneously, the pure spiritual force within me links with the formless sword, and I feel my life force intertwining with it. My formless sword also becomes an external core, amplifying my energy. When the last droplet falls precisely to our eye level, without hesitation, we both smile and unleash our most powerful attacks towards each other. At that moment, when our martial prowess causes the last droplet to evaporate on its own, I've decided to confess. In the midst of the intense spar and the whirlwind of emotions, I finally share my decision with him. We finally got the martial art scene we've been expecting. By the way, Kim and Seo's fight with Seo's declaration at the end feels like when 2 bros are playing games together and one suddenly spills the tea. Chapter 108. Lotus 16. Translating Novice. Boom boom boom. As the light exploded, Kim Young-hoon was struck by my formless sword and hurled into the middle of the desert. Cough, cough, cough. From within the dust cloud, Kim Young-hoon can be seen coughing as he struggles to his feet. Pitui, Pitui, damn it, Seo Eun-yun, you cunning guy. To say such a thing at this moment. Ha ha, sorry. He spits out sand and holds his saber, letting out a hollow laugh. Damn it, phew. After shaking off the sand, he sighs. Alright, fine, my attack couldn't match yours anyway. But still, he thumps his chest, continuing. Now you decide to confess. Arg, I thought I'd vomit blood from frustration. Quote. I sigh, it really wasn't an easy decision. You're so frustrating. What's so difficult about it? There are things hard to explain. Please understand. Fighting against Kim Young-hoon, who has obtained the surpassing radiant saber, I felt it clearly. Even as I wielded the formless sword, even while executing techniques, even while focusing my best. The pinkish color of love in my heart never left. If martial arts have become a part of my life that I never give up, then my affection for her has also become an integral part of my life. If it's impossible to shake off, then let's accept it. I can no longer endure. Nor can I leave. Being with Buk Hyung-hwa brings comfort. Learning artifacts from her makes me forget the pain of my return, if only momentarily. The pain of those numerous losses would subside, even if just for a moment. That comfort has become so strong that hiding my feelings is no longer possible. So, when will you confess? Do you need my help? Ah, I will confess, but I smile wryly and say, recently, I've been practicing making flowers out of glass. But whenever I make a flower, she says it looks like a starfish. So, I plan to wait until I get the shape of the flower right. Hearing this, Kim Young-hoon scowls again. Damn it, waiting again. It's maddening for those watching. You frustrating guy. Just confess quickly. Calm down, Kim Hung. I sweat trying to calm down the annoyed Kim Young-hoon, who is thumping his chest. If you really insist. Oh, wait a moment, Kim Hung. Suddenly, I take out the transmitting device that's ringing in my pocket. Ah, what now? Oh, sorry, Kim Hung. I need to return to the city quickly. Wait, you scoundrel. Using the transmitting device as an excuse, I fly towards Cheonsak City. Admittedly, escaping Kim Young-hoon's annoyance was part of it, but it was also due to something truly important. Cheongman Ryong has returned. How have you been, Taoist Seo, cultivator Buck? It's been a while, Taoist Cheongman. I greet Cheongman Ryong respectfully as he approaches. Cheongman Ryong laughs heartily as he descends from his flying artifact and enters Buk Hyung-hwa's magic artifact shop. Bak Hyunghwa and I head into the conference room. She brews tea, and we chat briefly over it. Then, Cheonmin Ryong starts the main topic. The formation is 99% complete. The remaining 1% will be finished after Cultivator Buck makes the final adjustments to the formation artifact and we go to Serving Command Palace to install the formation, while making some final tweaks. Cheonmin Ryong looks at us and says, "You've both worked really hard so far. The clan head also said that once the longevity fruit blooms safely, you will both be rewarded, and the Cheonmin clan will give you 1 or 2 more corresponding rewards. I am thankful." He looks at me and speaks. "Especially Taoist CEO. Since you have means like the Nether Crossing ship to enter Serving Command Palace, if you wish, we can even offer you the position of a guest elder in the Cheonmin clan. Of course, corresponding rewards will also come your way. I'll accept it gratefully." I convey my gratitude to Cheonmin Ryong, filled with burgeoning expectations. Now, perhaps Kim Young-hoon's lifespan can be extended a bit. If only the longevity fruit can bloom. Just then, Seo Eun-yun, "You rascal. Where are you going while an elder is speaking?" Kim Young-hoon enters the magic artifact shop. Cheonmin Ryong looks at Kim Young-hoon, and their eyes meet. My martial arts master and my cultivation master are facing each other. Before the atmosphere becomes awkward, I quickly introduce Cheonmin Ryong and Kim Young-hoon to each other. They greet each other, albeit awkwardly. Taoist Cheonmin, Kim Hung here has mastered a unique method. His spiritual power is undetectable, but he possesses skills beyond the stage of chi building. I see. And Kim Hung, Taoist Cheonmin here is among the top 3 scholars among chi building cultivators, so please show him the respect his knowledge deserves. Okay. After introducing them, I have a brief discussion with Cheonmin Ryong and then leave the conference room. Cheonmin Ryong also finishes discussing with Bak Hyunghwa and leaves the room. "Have you been well?" "I had my fun." But, Cheonmin Ryong looks at me and asks, "Taoist CEO, have you married Cultivator Buck?" Pardon me. Just before entering the conference room, it seemed like Taoist Seo's traces of life were everywhere. "It looks as though you were living here, so I wondered if you were married." That's. Before I could respond, Kim Young-hoon interjects with frustration. "Don't even bother. Seo Eun-yun here hasn't even properly dated Miss Buck yet." Just listen to this. This guy. Cheonmin Ryong and Kim Young-hoon began a conversation about my relationship with Bak Hyunghwa. A little while later, both of them looked at me, shaking their heads in frustration. "Taoist CEO, it's really unbearable. I've been curious since 10 years ago when you two would get engaged, and you're still not officially dating." "That's what I'm saying," Cheonmin hung. "This frustrating guy. Back in our hometown, there was someone who liked him, but no matter how much she showed it." Enough, please. I cough and hurriedly escape into the conference room where Bak Hyunghwa is still present. Miss Buck. Taoist CEO, it's time for your practice today, isn't it?" "Yes, let's start right away." I join her in the workshop to make glass crafts. Recently, she's been teaching me the basics about magic artifacts. Once you're familiar with the terms I've taught, reading this Compendium of Artifact Refinement I've compiled will definitely deepen your understanding of magic artifacts. "I understand, I'll read it later." I followed her lead and made some glass crafts. After a while, she moves to another side of the workshop to adjust the formation artifacts brought by Cheonmin Ryong. For a moment, the only sounds in the workshop were of us working on our respective tasks. After making a glass craft of a sword, I tried to create a white magnolia sculpture, which I know Bak Hyunghwa likes, and showed her the glass magnolia. "It doesn't look like a starfish, does it? At least it somewhat resembles a flower." Miss Buck. "Yes, what is it?" I apologize for the trouble caused by my inadequate skills. "No, Taoist CEO, the pieces you've made are also wonderful, aren't they?" "Wonderful. Compared to the magic artifacts you make, Miss Buck, what I make is just chunks of glass." She pauses her work on the magic artifacts and turns her attention to me. "Taoist CEO, you know what glass is made of, right?" "I am aware. It's made from the sand around here." "Correct. May I see it for a moment?" She takes the glass flower, which resembles a starfish, and begins working on it again. Sand is just common stone fragments. But when the right person handles it, it becomes a glass craft. She continues, "I've mentioned this before, haven't I? There's no waste in the world, just things that haven't found their fate or connection." Gradually, in her hands, the glass starfish I made started to take on the proper shape of a flower. That means, if the right fate touches it, anything can become a beautiful craft. Right, whoosh, she hands me a glass quince flower she just made. I wasn't sure what kind of flower you wanted to make, so I made a quince flower that suits Taoist Xiao. Do you like it? I take a moment to look at the quince flower she had handed me. People of biocrylite glass. It's easily made from desert sand, and though its true value is not seen in the dark, it reveals itself in the light. Quote. Miss Hyunghwa. I look at the quince flower and then at her. I have something to tell you. I had planned to confess once I am skilled enough to make a proper flower. But now, it seems I can no longer wait. Yes, I like this person. Yes, thump, I can hear her heart beating. She seems to have sensed my mood, as her face gradually reddens. Numerous thoughts swirl in my mind. What should I say? What would be the best? Just then, wait, just a moment. She speaks with a flushed face. I also have something to give you, Co Oribeoni. I'll give it to you by tomorrow, so can you please wait until then? Quote. Understood, Miss Buck. And I need to concentrate in the workshop for a bit, so could we stop here for today and you step out for a while? Understood. I obediently leave the workshop. Outside, I see Cheongmin Ryong, Kim Young-hoon, and Buk Jong-ho coughing. I had sensed their presence since earlier. Buk Jong-ho nods at me with a proud expression. Do well. Thump. He pats my shoulder and leaves the magic artifact shop with a smile, while Cheongmin Ryong and Kim Young-hoon sigh. Finally, this dense guy. Cultivator Buck doesn't seem likely to reject him. They can't hide the satisfied smiles on their faces as they look at me. It's not certain yet. Not certain. If you had eyes, you would have read the mood. Just pretend you don't know. I listen to Kim Young-hoon's nagging and Cheongmin Ryong's advice and briefly step out of the magic artifact shop. It seems unlikely that I will get much sleep tonight. Buk Hyunghwa sits inside the workshop with a flushed face. Miss Hyunghwa. She covers her reddened face with her hands. Finally, Oribeoni called me by my name. She sits still for a while and then finishes adjusting all the formation artifacts and turns her attention elsewhere. In a corner of her workshop is a small wooden box. Buk Hyunghwa opens the box and takes out a piece of paper. On it is a diagram of a Dharma treasure. The result of her constant contemplation and observation of Seo Eun-yun's formless sword over the past 10 years. It's the nearly completed blueprint of his Dharma treasure. Let's finish it now. It's a Dharma treasure perfectly suited for Seo Eun-yun. She recalls when she first heard Seo Eun-yun's conditions for the Dharma treasure. I thought he was crazy. A magic artifact with such impossible conditions. Yet, she was driven by the challenge, which eventually turned into earnestness. She wanted to make a weapon genuinely for Seo Eun-yun. The words Seo Eun-yun was about to say to her today. She realized what they were by the atmosphere. But that's why she wanted to hear them tomorrow. It will be complete by then. Scratch. As she draws with her brush, the diagram receives additional strokes. Each stroke fills her mind with thoughts of Seo Eun-yun. Soon, patterns appear on Buk Hyunghwa's face. And those patterns shine brightly. The intertwined black and purple patterns gradually merge into one. It is said that the extraordinary pattern lot talent grows with strong emotions. Although she had worked hard until now, it is the strongest emotion she has ever felt that began to develop her talent. Buk Hyunghwa continues to draw the diagram, entranced. Unaware that her 4 patterns are transforming into 3 patterns. As the 3 patterns emerge, her hand moves faster. She feels like she can grasp the ideal way to perfect the Dharma treasure. The Dharma treasure she had been contemplating and perfecting for 10 years is completed by her with even more perfection and novelty. She, with purple, gold, and pink patterns on her face, tirelessly details the structure of her gift to Seo Eun-yun. And thus, the next day dawns. Chapter 109, Lotus 17. Translating Novice. Like any other day in the desert, the sky is clear that day. Seo Eun-yun, stop wandering around. I realize I have been aimlessly pacing in front of Cheonsak City upon hearing Kim Young-hoon's reprimand. Sorry, I'm just quite nervous. What's there to be nervous about? You're ridiculous, really. Tisk. I sigh deeply. Is this the right thing to do? Is it right to offer my affections to someone? I've told you before, haven't I? There's no waste in the world, just things that haven't found their fate or connection. That means, if the right fate touches it, anything can become a beautiful craft. Right, I recalled her words. Being with you is so comforting. It's so peaceful and happy that sometimes it feels like a dream. I, who has always been abandoned by fate, realized through her words that the proper fate I had never reached was indeed with her. Even if swept away by time, even if the connection eventually fades. If the connection, the feelings, reach each other, can't they create something beautiful? Even if I have to return again someday, and everything disappears. Her presence heals all the pain and wounds I have ever experienced. People live with wounds. For over 700 years, I have only lost connections. I will continue to lose them again. But, people of biocrylite glass. It's easily made from desert sand, and though its true value is not seen in the dark, it reveals itself in the light. I am nothing more than dust, a grain of sand. But she is unequivocally my light. Therefore, in this life, even if only for a moment, I am determined to shine with her. Even if you're not the same person in the next life. My feelings have grown too large. I will burn brightly in this life. I steel my resolve and lift my head. You've made up your mind, I see. Kim Young-hoon smiles at me knowingly. Yes. Whoosh. Cheongman Ryong and Buk Jong-ho approach, each on their flying artifacts, landing in front of me at the gates of Cheon Sak City. Taoist CEO, finally we'll see you and cultivator Buk live happily ever after. I thought I'd go mad with frustration, but is today the day it finally happens? I've been holding back from grabbing you by the collar and forcing an engagement with my daughter, but it seems there's finally some progress. Buk Jong-ho chuckles. Just do the wedding now. Oh, right, I'll prepare everything for the ceremony. Quote. There's no need for that. Don't you dare argue with your future father-in-law. He spoke sternly. Cultivator Cheongman Ryong, if Taoist CEO confesses to my daughter, take them to Yian's tomb. Let them make their eternal vow in front of her grave. I'll prepare everything for the wedding there. Ah, but, go on, hurry. I try to protest, but Cheongman Ryong and Kim Young-hoon hold me back while Buk Jong-ho excitedly flies off to his wife's tomb. Ha, you poor thing. Just get married already. Is a wedding something to decide so hastily? As I look bewildered, Cheongman Ryong and Kim Young-hoon laugh heartily. Taoist CEO, we've seen you and cultivator Buk together for 10 years, and it was obvious you like each other. Isn't it rather late to officially become a couple? But, what? But, everyone in Cheon Sak City already thinks you two are a married couple, so it's better to make it official now. After enduring their unsolicited advice, I am finally released. While they were holding me, whoosh, a bee puppet flew out of Buk Hyung-hwa's workshop, carrying a formation disc and a small wooden box, and flew off into the distance. What's that? As I wonder, thud, thud, Buk Hyung-hwa slowly approaches from afar. Ahem, then I shall leave now. I'll be going too. Taoist CEO, do your best. Kim Young-hoon and Cheongman Ryong vacate the place for Buk Hyung-hwa and me, and she comes up to me. Taoist CEO, may I ask what you wanted to say? That is, I hesitate. She smiles warmly. Yun Orabeoni, are you feeling hot? Your face is red. I've learned a bit of pulse reading from you. Shall I do it for you? Hem. Imitating myself, she looks at my face and laughs brightly. So this is how it feels. During this time, she had been clenching her teeth and pretending not to know about my emotions. And now, I feel like my emotions have been exposed to her. It feels like I am being teased, but it's not a bad feeling. Miss Hyung-hwa, it seems you are feeling hot too. Your face is all red. Ah, she seems surprised for a moment, then chuckles. We both chuckle at each other. Shall we take a walk for a while, Miss Hyung-hwa? Yes, Yun Orabeoni. We strolled around Cheon Sak City. The ordinary mortals and cultivators of the stores in Cheon Sak City greeted us. I wandered around the market with her, buying and eating food, and looking at the shops. Since Buk Hyung-hwa's father, Buk Jong-ho, was the supervising cultivator in charge of Cheon Sak City, we even climbed the city walls to view the desert. The desert is really hot. The air is so dry that even when I try to create water with the water-surpassing path, it hardly gathers. I thought I was going to die when I crossed it before. Oh, really? Yes, if Miss Hyung-hwa hadn't given me water, I would surely have died of thirst. I remember the first time I drank water from Buk Hyung-hwa. Of course, the Buk Hyung-hwa who first gave me water is not the same as the current Buk Hyung-hwa. No, that's not right. In fact, thinking about it, the Buk Hyung-hwa I met the second time and drank water from, is not the current Buk Hyung-hwa either. Her is the her of this moment. Maybe, I am afraid of the disappearance of time. That's why I am afraid of forming connections and having feelings. However, Thinking about it, humans actually change every moment, every second. Therefore, a human from 1 second before and 1 second after are actually different beings. That's why I have always distinguished the people I met in each return from the people of previous returns. Even if people change, the heart should not. Have I just been too afraid until now? After all humans die. If there is a meeting, there will be a parting. However, I was too afraid of the pain of parting that I might not have seen the feelings of the present. Well, even if I return again someday, I made up my mind. From the moment I decided to be with her, all the events that have happened are already in my heart. All the events that will happen in the future will also become one with me in my heart. I decide to confess these feelings. Quote. Of course, even after making up my mind, it's not easy to verbalize it. Strangely, it's hot. My face is turning red. Bak Hyunghwa is the same. Cultivators always covered their skin with a protective method, so the harshness of the sunlight and the heat are not a big problem. Chi-building cultivators naturally form defensive gang chi with their pure spiritual force, making them even tougher than ordinary cultivators. But no matter what method I use, I can't do anything about this heat. Orabeoni. We both tried to speak at the same time and then chuckled again. You go first. Well, actually, I have something prepared for Unyun. Orabeoni. Whoosh. Suddenly, the bee puppet appears, leaping through space in front of us. Whoosh. The flapping of the bee puppet's wings cools the heat between us. In the forelegs of the bee puppet, there are 2 fans. Bak Hyunghwa grabs the 2 fans and hands one to me. Twin Immortals dance, do you remember the dance we did that time? I remember. In a few days, there will be a small festival in Yeondu City far away, would you like to dance there again? Oh, you were impressed by the dance we did back then. Yes, I really wanted to dance with Unyun Orabeoni again. Haha, now that you mention it, I also want to dance with Miss Hyunghwa again. But, I look at her and say, if we're going to do the Twin Immortals dance, wouldn't it be better to go back to Shengxi and dance there? Let's set up the formation in Serving Command Palace with Taoist Cheongman and go to Shengxi. Let's visit the village we protected together again. That's a great idea, but actually, I've prepared a gift for you in Yeondu City. A gift? Suddenly, I feel a bit embarrassed about the gift I have prepared. Actually, I have also prepared a gift for Miss Hyunghwa. Oh, what is it? I take out a wood attribute spirit stone. It's my first magic artifact, created from the brief teachings I had received from Bak Hyunghwa. Is this a starfish? She asks teasingly, looking at the form of my magic artifact, and I playfully respond while infusing spiritual power into the artifact. Have you ever seen a starfish like this? I am not skilled enough to make a magic artifact that looks exactly like a flower in an instant. However, I can engrave circuits in the artifact and infuse it with the desired spell. And in such cases, I am confident. Whoosh! Wood spiritual energy shines brightly. The spiritual energy of the 1,000 lustrous forest sea glows brilliantly. At the same time, as the spiritual energy gathers, it transforms into the shape of a flower. It's a white magnolia. Since you gave me a quince flower yesterday, I will give you a white magnolia. Wow, the white magnolia, created with numerous spells. Bak Hyunghwa looks at the white magnolia for a moment, then chuckles. You didn't make a magic artifact. Why can't you just compliment me? You always give me advice when you see me using flying sword artifacts. Every time you say, that's not how you handle a flying sword. That's, While I am flustered, Bak Hyunghwa takes the magic artifact I made and carefully puts it in her bosom. Anyway, thank you. The circuits of the magic artifact are well made and concise. Thank you for the compliment. But don't you, Miss Hyunghwa, prefer to make complex circuits? Wasn't saying it was well made and concise a bit of an insult? Oh, that's just my style, she says, looking over Cheonsak City from the city wall. My maternal grandfather, Gongmyo Cheonsak, fathered many illegitimate children, including my mother. Among them, those with the potential for cultivation were given the Gongmyo surname, but those without talent, like my mother, were not even given a surname and were cast out from the family like an unwanted child. Her story continues. When he made magic artifacts, he used to make the circuits concise. It made them more versatile and much easier for the user. The complexity of the circuits I made so far might have been a kind of rebellion against my grandfather. Suddenly, she strokes the bee puppet and says, but, you know what? Unyun Orabeoni. After hearing from you, I successfully repaired the central circuit of this bee puppet. I thought the central circuit would be very complex, but it turned out to be surprisingly concise. The simplicity of those circuits caused changes, spreading into countless circuits and operating this puppet. Somehow, its operating principle seems similar to human emotions. I, too, had witnessed in 3 flowers gather at the summit how 7 emotions can create so many changes. Thanks to Orabeone, I have grown, and I've been able to free myself from my strange rebellion against my grandfather. She looks at me and smiles brightly. Thank you, Unyun Orabeone. Me too. I smile back at her smile and confess. I receive so much comfort from Miss Hyunghwa. Thanks to you, the many wounds I have acquired in life seem to heal, and the pains of life seem to be forgotten every time I meet you. Before I knew it, I had taken Buk Hyunghwa's hand. In this moment, everything is going well. The day to obtain the longevity fruit is near. There's a high possibility of reaching the new realm. This connection can be finally realized. In this moment, I am deeply grateful. She closes her eyes. I can't explain it, but to me, you are. I slowly move my face closer to hers. Orabeone. With her eyes closed, she asks in a trembling voice. I hold her hand with furrowed brows. Miss Hyunghwa. Yes, Orabeone. With a face full of expectation, she calls out to me with her eyes closed. But I, tense all over, lift my face away from hers and ask. Isn't there a smell of blood coming from somewhere? Chapter 110. Lotus 18. Translating Novice. Yes. At my words, Buk Hyunghwa also opens her eyes, sensing that something is off in the atmosphere. There's a sudden stench of blood in the air. I look up at the sky. Fate is ominously clouded. Using demon senses, I observe that the surrounding spiritual energy is also ominously vibrating. Miss Hyunghwa, it looks like the celestial energy is ominous. Please stay inside. Orabeone. After reading the celestial energy with me for a moment, she frowns. For now, I'll try to figure out what's happening. Instead of trying to dissuade her, I focus more intently on locating the source of the smell. And then, I realize that the smell is emanating from the city itself. What? The entire city? I was bewildered when suddenly, whoosh, a strong wind starts blowing from the east, from the direction of the heaven-treading desert. My eyes widened. From the east of the heaven-treading desert, something like a red cloud is crawling up from beyond the horizon. Chills run down my spine. My skin starts to prickle. A thick evil presence is approaching. And soon, others gather on top of the city walls. Cheongman Ryong, Kim Young-hoon, Buk Jong-ho, and others. What is that? More importantly, the spiritual energy in the city is writhing strangely. Is cultivator Cheongman able to contact the Cheongman clan? Kim Young-hoon, with a vigilant expression, draws his saber, and Cheongman Ryong takes out a communication device to contact the Cheongman clan. Buk Jong-ho sends messages to the entire city administration, issuing orders. Rumble. Looking at the blood-red cloud rolling in from afar, I think of one being. Bloodwood practitioner, Yuan Li. Why is that person coming here? Although I have questions, it isn't the time for them. I ask Buk Jong-ho. The being coming here is Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li, a devil path cultivator who has surpassed core formation. He takes pleasure in devouring humans, so it's likely he's coming here for similar reasons. Is there a way to evacuate the city residents immediately? There are many cultivators in Cheonsak City, so if we use their flying artifacts to carry the mortals. Just then, screech. The smell of blood emanating from the city intensifies, spreading a blood mist in all directions. What? The blood mist converges into 6 blood-red pillars, surrounding the city. A curtain of red light appears between the pillars, enclosing the entire city. Rumble. Simultaneously, the dragon vein beneath the city begins to boil. Simultaneously, as the dragon vein beneath the city stirs, the vital force chi and blood in my body also begins to wriggle. And then, my body, I can't move, save me, the city residents, all the mortals among them are writhing in agony on the ground. While the martial artists who have learned martial arts look a bit better off, they too have to continuously calm their boiling vital force and blood. Kim Young-hoon also seems to have boiling vital force and blood, but thanks to his inner core, he quickly subdues it and regains his composure. This is a blood sacrifice formation. Cheongman Ryong's face turns pale. Blood sacrifice. A human sacrifice. A method used by devil path cultivators to offer a large number of lives to increase their vitality and cultivation. Quote exclamation mark quote. As my face contorts, Kim Young-hoon strikes the blood wall with his surpassing radiant saber. Boom! The golden radiance of the saber struck the blood wall, but the wall, being connected to the city's dragon vein, does not easily break. Damn, it's not budging. Taoist CO, what do you know about this Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li? Do you know him? That person is. Suddenly, I remember an incident from my past lives. The Heaven-Treading Desert Massacre. An incident where brutal massacres occurred in tribes and cities near the Heaven-Treading Desert. That massacre agitated the spirits of many cultivator clan elders and clan heads, eventually leading to a great war 200 years later. No, something's strange. In my previous life, when I met Buk Hyung-hwa, it was 40 years after my return. But now, only 10 years have passed. Why has the incident been brought forward by decades? I grit my teeth and look around. Taoist Cheongman, can you dismantle this blood sacrifice formation? Quote. The dragon vein is indeed connected. I'll try, but it will take time. Then we will buy you time. Please dismantle the formation as quickly as possible in the meantime. Quote. Understood. Cheongman Ryong descends with a stern face, grab a formation artifact, and begins to work on something. I speak to Kim Young-hoon and Buk Jong-ho. The one coming now is a devil path cultivator named Yuan Li, the Bloodwood practitioner. His realm is likely at the grand perfection of core formation, or perhaps slightly beyond. It's indeed earlier than in my previous life when the massacre occurred. Even so, he couldn't have achieved nascent soul by now. The Dharma treasure that is said to elevate his realm by one stage is the black castle-shaped Dharma treasure I had seen, and he only increases his cultivation, inside, it. Now that he's come out in the open. Perhaps. I look at Kim Young-hoon. If Kim Young-hoon and I, both with core formation fighting capability, combine forces, perhaps we can hunt down Yuan Li. I and Kim Hung are of core formation strength, so it's not impossible for us to hold him off. Meanwhile, Elder Buk and Miss Hyung-hwa, please protect Cheon Sak City from the fallout of the battle. Buk Young-ho nods, and Buk Hyung-hwa looks at me with worried eyes. Will you be alright, Orabeoni? I glance at the bee puppet. Miss Hyung-hwa, if you can escape with the bee puppet, please leave right now. But, Cheon Sak City is my. Miss Hyung-hwa, thump. I grab her shoulder and plead. Please, try. Quote. Alright. Soon after, Buk Hyung-hwa activates the teleportation array engraved on the bee puppet. However, the bee puppet does not teleport through space, it just rushes through the void. It simply bounced off the blood sacrifice formation and was repelled. Quote. This formation is also hindering space teleportation. We might be able to leave once the formation weakens a bit. Understood. Miss Hyung-hwa, promise me that when Taoist Cheongman weakens the formation even slightly, you will immediately escape using the bee puppet. Orabeoni, but, promise me, I match her eye level. It's alright if I die, but you must live. Buk Hyung-hwa, do as he says. Buk Jong-ho also speaks to Buk Hyung-hwa with a serious face. She seemed about to say something but then closes her mouth. Quote. Alright, then, may luck be with you. Buk Jong-ho takes Buk Hyung-hwa to the base of the city walls and begins to deploy a protective formation to shield the civilians inside the city. Kim Young-hoon and I draw our formless sword and surpassing radiant saber respectively, eyeing the blood-red clouds flying towards us beyond the blood sacrifice formation. And then, whoosh, the blood-red cloud envelops the entire blood sacrifice formation. Simultaneously, a figure in a blood-red robe slowly descends from within the cloud. Whoosh, he easily penetrates the blood-red curtain and enters. The same blood-red robe. And a translucent black mask. It's Yuan Li, the Bloodwood practitioner. Now, I must catch him. I observe him. The aura emanating from him is at best grand perfection of core formation. At best, at Song Jin's level. And if he's Song Jin's level, I am confident enough to hunt him. Suddenly, I noticed something different about him compared to my past life. Wrinkles. Indeed, in my past life, even though Yuan Li wore a mask, his skin was smooth, and his physique was youthful. But now, Yuan Li's hands are wrinkly, his physique significantly smaller, and his hair not a lustrous black but ash gray. I shout at Yuan Li with the momentum of the formless sword. Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li, what brings you to Cheon Sak City? He looks at me upon hearing my words. Damn, I feel nauseous from the disgusting heart essence emanating from within him. It's still the same. Although there is a slight difference in appearance, his inner heart essence is no different from before. Oh, you know my title. Yuan Li strokes his chin from inside his mask with a rough voice. Strange indeed. How do you know my title? Those who knew it have all perished, and those who could have known, I have tracked down and killed. There's no need to know about such things. How long has it been since our heavenly being seniors ascended? Why would you start such a brutal act over a single city so soon? Ha ha, what does a mere chi building cultivator need to know? Be quiet and just die. Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo. As Yuan Li forms a hand seal, the blood cloud he brought with him flows into the core of the blood sacrifice formation. Inside, there's an eerie echo of ghastly cries and the thick smell of blood. I exchange a look with Kim Young-hoon and we both swing our surpassing radiant saber and formless sword. Kua guang guang guang. Golden and colorless lights sweep through, dispersing the blood cloud. Surprised by our momentum, Yuan Li looks down at us with a slightly startled expression. Ho, not chi building but core formation cultivators in hiding. Answer me, even if it's you, do you think you can safely face both of us? Kim Young-hoon and I have both reached the core formation level in the path beyond the heavens. In my case, the combination of chi building and path beyond the heavens have a synergistic effect, enabling me to exert the power of the highest level of core formation. Moreover, I have honed my formless sword for over 200 years in the path beyond the heavens. If Yuan Li is only at this level, it wouldn't be impossible to hunt him down. Alright, you're not just chi building bugs, so you deserve an answer. He strokes his chin as he speaks. Quack. Then, he runs his hand over his nape, revealing a certain handprint. That is, 10 years ago, during the period when the Ascension Gate was open, and before all the Heavenly Being Seniors ascended, I was attacked and almost killed by a Heavenly Being Senior. Though I was spared thanks to the Senior's change of heart, this curse he left on me continued to eat away at my body. Quote. The butterfly effect of Mad Lord's actions. The curse spread by the Mad Lord accelerated Yuan Li's actions by decades. In the end, I realized that to lift this curse, I needed to regain my nascent soul cultivation, so I decided to collect my blood soul a bit earlier than planned. Blood soul, you know my name, but not that, huh? Yuan Li chuckles, then extends his hands. Wo Wang. Blood erupts from his hands, absorbed by the blood sacrifice formation. Simultaneously, the formation trembles, and my vital force and blood become even more restless. Kim Young-hoon's complexion worsens. Boom bam boom. Among the mortals writhing inside the city, those with weaker bodies began to burst open. Pop pop boom. Their bodies exploded, and their vital force, blood, and life force emerged, rising towards the center of the blood sacrifice formation. Stop it. Enraged, I charge at him with my formless sword. Kim Young-hoon, seeing this, hardens his face and unfolds his surpassing radiant saber, targeting Yuan Li. But then, tisk, tisk, how foolish. You seem to be mistaken about something. Kia, eerie ghostly wails echo from within his blood-colored robe. Indeed, at this moment, my cultivation is only at core formation grand perfection. He takes out a staff from his storage device. The staff, stained with blood, has a crystal skull decoration at the top, and the wooden body is covered with small branches that resemble human hands. Shoo woo woo. 5 translucent blood-colored banners extend around him. As he speaks, 4 red pagoda-shaped Dharma treasures emerge, lining up around him like guards. As he rummages through his bag, a gush of scarlet blood water surges out. The blood water rises beside him, transforming into the shapes of 2 massive ghost kings wielding scythes. I was originally a nascent soul cultivator. In order not to be captured when they were about to ascend, I scattered my nascent soul into blood spirits and sprinkled them around the heaven-treading desert, temporarily lowering my cultivation. Quack quack quack. Even as he spoke, he continued to take things out from his storage device and throw them into the air. 7 scrolls unfold beside him and in front of the ghost kings. The scrolls depict sea creatures drawn in blood: seahorse, dragon, octopus, striped marlin, orca, coral reef, and clam. All the Dharma treasures and magic artifacts I've collected since reaching nascent soul, as well as the powers of developed, are intact. Although my cultivation is only at core formation great perfection, do you think you can oppose me? Qua. Finally, he spits out 17 bone daggers from his mouth. The handles of the daggers are carved with weeping skulls. Come at me, core formation trash. I'll grind your golden cores into my blood spirits. Ahahaha. Kim Young-hoon and I silently take our fighting stances. Boom 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 at. Below us. Buck Hyunghwa and Buck Jong-ho, along with other cultivators, try to stop it, but the mortals' bodies continue to explode. Crack. No words were needed to start the fight. Severing mountain swordsmanship. First move, transcending peaks. The opening technique cuts across Yuan Li horizontally. Keying. The red pagodas surrounding him connect, forming a red curtain. My formless sword is blocked by the curtain, and inside, I see Yuan Li forming a hand seal. Go. Kia. The two ghost kings made of blood water swing their scythes at Kim Young-hoon. Block them, I'll break through. Yes. Kim Young-hoon gathers energy, and I step forward, unfolding my formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, joy of mountains and peaks. Hundreds of trajectories crisscross, blocking the ghost king's scythes, and even engulfing their forms. Pot. A golden explosion is felt from behind. I dodge, and a dazzling ray of light shoots forward. Severing vein saber method, mountain wind, strikes the barrier surrounding Yuan Li. Kwang. The barrier trembles and finally breaks. But inside the barrier, Yuan Li calmly completes his hand seal. Release. Kwaik. The scrolls unfold beside him. Sea creatures drawn in blood leap from their scrolls. These are the demon souls refined by my blood sea overwhelming light. Let's see how you handle them. Each one is at core formation. I stand beside Kim Young-hoon, gripping my formless sword. The energy from those demon souls are explosive, but they deplete quickly. I'll hold them off while you approach him. Be careful not to let your head touch the blood-colored banners around us. Understood. Severing mountain swordsmanship, landscape painting. I scatter my formless sword in all directions. Core formation level demon souls rush at me, radiating blood-colored brilliance. The octopus tentacles trap me, and the striped marlin aims its sharp bill at me. The coral reef extends like spikes from the inside, pressuring me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, bouldered cliff, strange rock. My formless sword morphs into a mass with numerous bizarre changes, creating a defensive and offensive unity. The striped marlin is repelled by the rotation of my formless sword, and all the tentacles and branches of the octopus and coral reef are cut off. Kuo-o. The blood-colored orca charges at me with its mouth wide open. Severing mountain swordsmanship, dragon vein, flowing ridge. My formless sword rapidly rotates in my hand, strengthening, and smoothly pierces into the mouth of the orca. Severing mountain swordsmanship, chi mountain heart heaven. Inside the orca, my formless sword instantly expands and explodes the body of the demon. The remnants of the orca's soul is scattered in all directions, and in that gap, a blood-colored seahorse rushes at me, spewing bloody foam. Bubbling. Watching the numerous bubbles, I slash through them all with my formless sword. But 3 bubbles that I failed to cut grow larger and fly at me, eventually merging into one and trapping me. Ah! Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo. Suddenly, my whole body feels heavy. It's hard to move. However, severing mountain swordsmanship, mountain echoes valley responds. Teeing. My formless sword vibrates, shedding a sword cry. The self-generated vibration carrying its own aura of anticipation wildly swirls inside the bubble. Thanks to the trajectory of the severing mountain swordsmanship in my hand, my body is unharmed, not even a single scratch, and gradually, the bubble trembles and finally bursts. Pong. Severing mountain swordsmanship, deep mountain. I quickly dive towards the seahorse about to release more bubbles, slashing upwards with my formless sword. But, at that moment, quack, a blood-colored clam quickly wedges itself between me and the seahorse. Teeing. My formless sword fails to pierce the clam's shell, and the clam opens its mouth to swallow me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, 9 mountains 8 seas. I rotate my formless sword over 90 times in place, then slice the clam in 8 directions. Quack. The clam and the seahorse behind it are both cut into 16 pieces and scatters. Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo. Then, I see the blood dragon behind the seahorse and clam, gathering energy in its mouth. That is, remembering the dragon's breath that Seo Ran had fired in dragon form, I raise my formless sword. A direct hit will be fatal, even for someone at the top of core formation. Flash. The blood-colored energy surges towards me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, echoing valley. I capture the blood-colored beam with my formless sword and spin around, throwing it towards the distant battlefield where golden and blood-colored lights are clashing. The energy shot by the blood dragon flies towards Yuan Li, and the 4 pagodas moving around him form another barrier. Kwang. But the barrier shatters instantly under the blood dragon's breath, and the 4 pagodas lose their light in an instant. Kua guang guang guan. The breath, weakened by the barrier, pours down on Kim Young-hoon and Yuan Li. I rush towards the blood dragon, gathering strength, and raise my formless sword. The blood dragon writhes its massive body towards me, lunging with its horn. Severing mountain swordsmanship, secluded valley. I divert and nullify its power with a twist, then slash upwards with my formless sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship, entering mountain. Quack! My formless sword splits the blood dragon in half, scattering it into pieces. Shoo woo woo. Despite having scattered all 7 demon souls, they start to slowly reassemble in the air, hinting at regeneration. Thankfully, they regenerate slowly. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains. Shwa cha cha cha. My formless sword extends in all directions like thorns, scattering the regenerating demon souls again. I then kick off towards the battlefield of clashing gold and red. Ku gu gu gu. A storm of blood presses against the golden radiance. Yuan Li, using the flying escape technique, matches Kim Young-hoon's speed, launching 17 dagger dharma treasures at him. Occasionally, his 5 elements blood curse banners would fly at Kim Young-hoon, distracting him. The 2 ghost kings formed from the blood river look to have regenerated, pressuring Kim Young-hoon from both sides, while Yuan Li bombards him with numerous spells. Kim Young-hoon shouts upon seeing me join. Be careful of his spells with that staff. Every time a spell from that staff touches you, it absorbs vital force and blood, and he recovers his energy. Kim Young-hoon's complexion is paler than before, probably having had his vital force sucked a few times by Yuan Li. Understood. Kim Hung, deal with the demon kings and bone daggers. I'll target his main body. I stand in front of Kim Young-hoon, who targets the bone daggers with 17 mountain wind thrusts, then pulls in the ghosts kings to pressure them. Quite capable, you too. It would have been more interesting if I brought my special jiangshis. Yuan Li chuckles, forming a hand seal. His crystal skull staff's mouth opens. Blood clouds forming blood hands spew out from the crystal skull by the hundreds and thousands, rushing at me. If they touch me, they'll drain vital force and blood, and Yuan Li will recover. Then, I just need to make sure none can touch me. Kwang, severing mountain swordsmanship, Bloudered cliff. The formless sword rotates around me, forming offensive and defensive unity. Kwang kwang kuang. I spin my formless sword, repelling all the blood hands, and charge at Yuan Li. HMPH. Ku. A red pagoda strikes down on me from the sky. Though it's for defensive methods, it looks like it can also be used offensively. Tong. I divert the pagoda's power to my side with secluded valley and continue to charge at Yuan Li. He relentlessly bombards me with spells. A tidal wave of blood crashes down, and blood branches stretch in all directions. Several blood rays target me and blood mobs rush at me. I repel every single spell, gradually approaching Yuan Li. Stronger than Song Jin. Though Song Jin is said to be a remnant soul of a heavenly being cultivator, he had to constantly resist the underworld's pull by relying on the ghostly energy of the nether crossing ship without a physical body or dharma treasures. Yuan Li, showing his full strength at the peak of core formation and using numerous dharma treasures, is incomparable. But, together with Kim Young-hoon, we can definitely catch him. Pong! Boom! Kim Young-hoon bursts the blood-formed ghost kings behind me and shakes off Yuan Li dharma treasures, coming to join me. I plunge into Yuan Li embrace, and our eyes meet. Farewell. And then, quack! Yuan Li holds a translucent blood-colored banner in his hand. You're caught. Quack! He thrusts the blood-colored banner into my head. Twitch. I stop in my tracks. I summon more than just 5 elements blood curse banners. The previous 5 blood-colored banners have been chasing Kim Young-hoon. As Yuan Li forms a hand seal, several more blood-colored banners begin to rise around him. If the source of the 5 elements blood curse banner is properly placed in the upper dantian, I can summon as many as I want. Haha, performing so well before me, you two will be useful as my blood slaves. Quack! I swing my formless sword at the chattering Yuan Li. Yuan Li, with his upper body severed, looks at me bewilderedly. How about that 5 elements blood curse banner? I smirk, lifting my formless sword. It seems it doesn't work on someone who has mastered the same curse. How did you? Quack! I slice his upper body into thousands of pieces and kick away the remaining lower half. The 5 elements blood curse banner he just planted was absorbed by the 5 elements blood curse banner I refined with the 1 emotion method. Because of that, the refining rate of my 5 elements blood curse banner, which was 99%, dropped to around 95%, but it doesn't really matter. Is it over already? If he hadn't used the 5 elements blood curse banner just now, it would have been dangerous, but anyway, I finished him. That's a relief. Then, you seem like experienced fighters, but do you lack experience in battling core formation cultivators? Shiver. I shiver and look back. Yuan Li's lower half, despite the absence of the upper half, is still floating in the air. Quarak qua ra ra rack. Blood surges from Yuan Li lower half, gradually regaining the shape of his upper half. What in the world? As Kim Young-hoon exclaims in shock, Yuan Li consciousness echoes. Chi-building cultivators and above can survive for days even if several organs are torn due to the flow of pure spiritual force in their meridians, and can regenerate if well rested for a few months. But that's it. Chi-building cultivators die if their neck is cut. I charge at him before he can fully revive while he is talking. Kwang. However, the blood-colored clam suddenly blocks my way. Quack. The 7 demon souls I had scattered earlier have completely regenerated. But you know, from core formation onwards, you don't need a head or anything else. Core formation cultivators from righteous sects practicing righteous path methods might need months of recuperation if their neck is cut or heart is plucked. However, devilish cultivators like myself, who practice the blood path, regenerate instantly unless their golden core is destroyed. Kim Hung. Severing Mountain Swordsmanship, ultimate move, Severing Mountain. I pour all my strength at the 7 demon souls to break through. They struggle desperately to protect their master, but I initiate endless mountains beyond mountains, launching Severing Mountain again and again. Meanwhile, Kim Young-hoon, seizing the opportunity while Yuan Li is babbling, flies towards him with the speed of light. Chuerik. Yuan Li upper body regenerated over 90%. Kim Young-hoon uses Surpassing Radiant Saber and Severing Vein Saber method's ultimate move, Saber Tomb, to attack him in that state. Light flashes and Yuan Li, who has regenerated over 90%, is again torn to shreds. Yuan Li upper and lower halves are scattered, with only a fist-sized golden core floating in the air. Just as Kim Young-hoon is about to destroy the golden core. Did I ever say my? Quack. From inside the golden core, a blood-colored spear shoots out. The spear aims straight for Kim Young-hoon's heart, who dodges back in surprise. Dharma treasures are limited to this. Chiak. Blood mist spews from the spear, forming another blood-colored ghost king. Damn it, is he even human? You become completely different from humans starting from chi building, what are you saying? I shake off the demon souls and step towards the golden core, while Kim Young-hoon also faces the spear-wielding ghost king and moves towards the core. Then, the remnants of Yuan Li begin to gather around the golden core, regenerating his body again. Damn it, we must stop it. Just then, pook quack, boom, ah, a bee puppet, appearing suddenly in the area, injected its pure spiritual force sting into Yuan Li defenseless golden core. It was Buck Hyunghwa. How dare you? Boom, quack, the bee puppet injects several more stings into the golden core, which retaliates with spells, pushing the puppet back. But the core is already cracked and losing light. You bastard. Yuan Li voice fades, and the golden core falls straight down. Miss Hyunghwa. Below, I see Buck Hyunghwa with a determined expression, manipulating the puppet, her face filled with satisfaction. Quack. And then, something done by Cheonmin Ryong seems to have an effect, as the blood sacrifice formation starts to fade. It doesn't disappear completely, but it's significantly weaker than before. Ha ha, I feel a release of tension. Yes, this way, we have prevented the sudden heaven-treading desert massacre from happening decades early due to a small butterfly effect from the Mad Lord. That's what I thought. Impressive. What? Wriggle, it isn't Yuan Li golden core. In the center of Cheon Sak City. From the life force and essence blood of those who died due to the blood sacrifice formation, a voice emerged. Hung, I know. Kim Young-hoon rushes towards it, but then. Quack. The blood cloud brought by Yuan Li. The blood energy that covers the outside of the blood sacrifice formation rushes inside. Quack. The blood cloud rushes at us, obstructing our way. This is. I sense from within the blood cloud, the life force and essence blood of tens of thousands, along with their grudges and pain. This is. Human. Each droplet of this blood cloud is the life of a human. Kugugugugu. Yuan Li's blood cloud absorbs the shattered golden core, regenerating it. The falling golden core rises again into the air. Then, something begins to emerge from the central blood pillar in Cheon Sak City. It's a baby in the form of a soul body, with dozens of eyes, mouths, and hands all over its grotesque body. From its mouth emerges Yuan Li rumbling consciousness. Chi-building cultivators have a moderately strong regenerative power, and core formation cultivators don't die easily unless their golden core is destroyed. The grotesque baby flicks its finger, and Yuan Li falling golden core flies towards it. Kim Young-hoon and I try to stop it, but the blood cloud surrounds and obstructs us. From nascent soul onwards, as long as the nascent soul is intact, you don't die even if the golden core is shattered. Normally, shattering the golden core would mean losing all cultivation. However, I am thoroughly prepared, so that won't happen. And, didn't I tell you? I had already reached nascent soul but just scattered my blood spirits around the cities near the heaven-treading desert to avoid the eyes of the heavenly being cultivators. Kugugugu. The blood clouds are drawn into his golden core. In an instant, Yuan Li regenerates his body and bursts out from the blood cloud. Kugugugugu. The blood clouds scattered outside the blood sacrifice formation are also sucked into Yuan Li's body. His cultivation begins to skyrocket, surpassing core formation grand perfection. Kim Young-hoon laughs hopelessly, looking at Yuan Li. Well played. Golden light, over there. I'll refine you into my blood slave and you, I don't know how you did it, but since you learned the 5 elements blood curse banner, mental restraints won't work on you. You'll just have to die. Yuan Li, having absorbed all the blood clouds, exudes the power of an early nascent soul cultivator. Your city is not the first I visited. Instead, I first gathered all my blood spirits I had left in the northern grasslands, absorbed the nourishment there, and then came here to play for a while. It seems you were quite spirited. Anyway, it was impressive. Farewell. Whoosh. The next moment, Yuan Li emits a burst of blood-colored radiance.